Peace, what's going on, y'all? What up, what up? Welcome to the live. My name is Brother Legend. I'm here to raise your consciousness. Peace and power to all the descendants of my ancient mother. Ashe, Ashe, oh. Back up here again, doing the ancestors' work as we do every day. Here to spread consciousness to the people that need to hear it. What's going on? Thank you for tapping like on the live. That's my laptop going up right now. Shout out to B1 Initiative, doing some amazing work. We're going to have some stuff we're dropping in January. We'll have our anniversary, 1 year anniversary of B1 Initiative. And we're also going to be dropping some more of our projects, media, a lot of stuff we've been working on silently, behind the scenes. If anybody wants to volunteer, anybody wants to join us, you may. The link is in my bio, www.b1initiative.org. We are a 501c3 nonprofit. All donations are tax deductible. Peace, Bubba. So today's question, what is the benefit of sharing culture with the descendants of Europeans? Has any people ever benefited from doing that? Has any culture ever benefited from doing that? Where has there been Europeans and indigenous people sharing culture and indigenous people flourished? Where has that happened? When has that happened? I have my laptop open in front of me. I am ready to learn, as I hope you are as well. Please let me know when and where that has happened. Ashe, D-Lady, what's going on? Peace. Terry Ants, give us your age, race, and pronouns, please.
Yes, sir. I am black and I am, well, I guess African American would be the better term, but I'm black, I'm 31, and I go by he, him, his.
All right, talk to us.
So, I think this question is it's a broad question, right? As far as people benefiting from culture. Yes, people in itself benefit from sharing cultures and sharing knowledge and beliefs. But from a DNA standpoint or a genetic standpoint, we do benefit from
Genetic?
Yes.
We're talking about culture. Let's keep it in culture, man.
Okay,
Let's
keep it
not
in
go to
culture.
biology, please.
Yeah. See, I apologize. Because that's where my brain went when this question was asked. Because this question is really broad, right? Because sharing culture, in itself, you're talking about ethnicity, or you're talking about just sharing the actual culture in different subsects.
Ethnicity is what happens when culture becomes an identifier. So we're talking about culture itself.
Okay. Well, then you kind of have to ask the question as far as culturally, this wouldn't be a black and white question. right? Because culture isn't subjectified to race or, you know, phenotype markers. So, I mean,
So you think race is a biological
no, no,
reality?
no. That's not what I'm saying.
So
Race isn't biological. Race is based on skin tone. It's made up. But whenever you talk about culture and ethnicity, that isn't made up. So whenever you
yes,
talk
it
about,
is.
oh, you think ethnicity is made up?
Culture is made up.
How so?
It's a social construct.
Yes, but it's not made up. It's physical. You can see it. I mean, like,
How can you see culture?
so if you go, say, to Louisiana, they have a different culture than someone from New York, right?
What do
So,
they what do they do so differently?
I mean, their food, their gastronomy, their um, way of speaking, just the way they interact in their day to day lives is
Do they
different.
not speak English?
I mean, some speak Creole, some speak French. They like it. It doesn't just tie down to one culture, and then you get into. I'm talking about just
Either
location.
way, it's still made up because everything you just listed came from the minds of men. It's not an objective reality. That's not something that would exist without being made up by a human being. So it's still a social construct.
Yes, I do agree with that. Everything. I mean, but I mean, you go down a rabbit hole. Everything's made up. Then you know what I mean. So we
Well,
have to set some kind of like boundary so that this
what
doesn't get
I'm
out of
saying, you
control.
can't say race is. All right. So you can't say race is made up, but
Mhm.
culture isn't. If you're going to say that one thing is a social construct, they're both social constructs. One is less harmful, but one was built on harm. So,
Yeah.
you could make that distinction, but to say that, oh, we can't talk about race because race is made up and culture is real, like that makes no sense. That doesn't hold up.
No, because we're approaching this from different angles. I mean, whenever I'm talking about race, and yeah, you kind of pointed to it being harmful in type of way. Race was literally made on different phenotypes of people.
Not necessarily, but
No, it is.
close.
It was by the Spanish Inquisition. It was made by that.
Okay, so you're saying I'm just as black as a South Indian because South Indian people might be darker than me.
But then we're getting into culture. You know what I mean?
No, we're not
Yeah,
just getting in.
yes, we are.
We're not getting. I mean, to a degree, but if you want to look at it that way, but we're really getting into ancestry and lineage.
But that would be culture.
Geographically, where people are from can be part of a culture,
Mhm.
but culture is not always a geographical ethnicity. There's geographical ethnicities, there's linguistic ethnicities,
Right.
like there's
I
different.
agree with that. No, I agree with that.
So,
But my point being is like the question is so broad that you can get into a rabbit hole. You see what I'm
well,
saying?
it's subjective, not broad. I think you're
Right.
broadening it as much as you can by beating on different walls to see where the nail is. But I'm trying to say, can black and white people benefit, meaning there would be a net positive from sharing culture with each other? Like, should I put with each other there to make it like, I don't mean sharing culture with
No, and don't
anyone but black and white people. When has
so
black and white people come together, shared culture, and it's benefited?
let me be completely frank and like transparent here. I'm not trying to like argue against your points at all. I'm just trying to have a civil discussion. That's it. And whenever I read your question, whenever I originally read it, I was like, it's very broad as far as black and white people because you have race and then you have sharing culture. So that's where my mind is.
Do you
It's
believe
not
black people have no culture?
no, I believe they do have culture. Like
But so you're saying a race can have a culture then?
I believe that different cultures like are tagged by identifiers and phenotypes.
What?
So I believe different culture. You just said
Don't tell me
black.
what you believe. Tell me what you know. Did you read something somewhere that told you this?
I mean, this is my opinion. So,
Okay.
but I mean, like as someone that studied different sociologies and different societies, like in college, right? Like I'm actually studying right now too. I know that different people in different areas have different cultures, and those cultures can be marked by, like we said, phenotypes and identifiers, which was
That's not
great.
true. I've never heard that. What's a phenotypical culture?
You just missed everything I just said. I
You
said
said culture can be marked by phenotype, bro. That is something created by racism. So how in the world is
you
there a
just said okay,
phenotypical culture?
okay. You just said black people. Do you believe black people have culture? And that's
Yeah.
why I'm just like,
And you
yes.
keep narrowing the definition of race to only phenotype, which is something white people usually do. But I don't know why you're doing that
What do
because,
you mean? How
again,
so?
it's not just based on phenotype.
Okay. Then what is it based on?
It's based on
And
a
what is your
connection.
background?
I'm sorry?
I said, and what is your background? If you're gonna argue
I
against
have a
mine,
PhD in Black and Proud. And at the end of
in
the
what?
day,
PhD in what?
in Black and Proud, I have a PhD in Kuji Chakulia. All right.
Okay.
So,
Okay.
anyway, at the end of the day, race is not just based on someone's phenotype and the way that they look. It's
Okay.
also based on the ancestry and where they come from. So, who black people are is defined by white people, first of all. So, if white people said that Asian people are black now, that's just going to be what it is. This is their system. They created it. They're the ones that have privilege and power in it. So if they just decided one day that, anybody was black, then everybody's going to be black. But when we talk about black people in the context of these conversations,
Yes.
we're talking about the descendants of Africans. We're not talking about South Asians. We're not
Yes.
talking about Aboriginal Australians. We're not talking about dark-skinned, Europeans or Asians or South Americans. We're talking about Africans. So we're talking about people who have a lineage connection to Africa. Even if their skin is lighter than somebody from Asia, if their parents are descendants of Africans, then they're still black. We look at Alicia Keys. We look
Right.
at what's the name? Swiss Beats. You can look at Adam Clayton Powell. You can look at Louis Farrakhan. The list goes on. I mean, so blackness exists in a rainbow of phenotypes. So when we try to say that black is a look and a look alone, then that's not accurate.
Well, I don't think that's what I said. I said
I
black.
wasn't saying that. Please don't
Okay.
get defensive.
Oh, no, no, no. I
I
just
wasn't making that an accusation, but you
okay.
keep bringing up phenotype, and that's
Well, I
weird to
guess
me because black people know who we are when there's no mirrors around. We
oh no,
know we're
I
the
agree.
descendants of
I agree.
Africans. We have a land history and culture in common with black people around the world. So it's
Well,
not just
and
because of how we look.
I guess, and don't take me saying phenotype the wrong way either. I'm thinking at a scientific way of this. But whenever I'm talking about phenotypes, I'm just going off of what we look like, I guess. But whenever you talk about black culture, like there's cultures all over the. I mean, I'm narrowing this down to the United States, right? I'm from Texas. Black people have a different culture in Houston than they do in Dallas, and it's in the same state, right?
Now that's not true.
Wait, what?
Yeah, so
What?
it's not true.
We don't
And
have a different culture.
yeah,
And we
again, you're
interact.
not. I don't think
What
you're
are you
ready to have
asking?
this conversation, to be honest. But
Okay, no.
yeah, you don't know the difference between subculture and culture in general. Like, yes, white people in Maine, might eat more lobster and than white people in Pennsylvania, but they,
What?
they're
What?
still white.
No,
Like,
I'm literally
yeah,
talking
no,
about
but you don't
like
say this about any other race, though. That's what I'm trying to say. Like, someone
no.
in
I will say
Texas
it.
might
No, I
say
will say
"yeehaw." Someone in California might say "howdy," and it doesn't mean it's a different
No,
culture. Whoa,
no.
no, it's
Every.
still part of, let me finish.
Oh,
It's
sorry.
still part
Apologize.
of the greater American culture. So, yes, there's a difference in subculture in different regions. That
Yeah.
doesn't make it a completely different culture. And when you even say that black people in the East have a completely different culture from black people in the West, when they both have the same overarching culture, that's literally doing the same thing that got black people enslaved in the first place.
You lost me halfway through there, but I will say that culture isn't defined by black and white.
I feel like I'm on the Fresh and Fit podcast. I'm going on to the next person. We're going to keep it rolling, like Kelly rolling.
My guy.
Hello, that guy. Give us your age, race, and pronouns, please.
I am so age 41. Damn, I'm white, and he him, as it were.
All right, talk to us.
So I mean I think they can I think it's beneficial to share cultures at times. I think it can be problematic depending on how it's done, but yeah, I do think that being together and sharing cultures and learning stuff is great.
Okay. How, in your opinion, has black people benefited from sharing culture with white people?
I don't know. I guess if you're talking about how things were for people in the South in the 50s and 60s to today, it's better, I would say.
Oh, okay. And how is it better today?
Well, I mean, there's not public lynchings. There's not like it's
There
better
aren't?
than it was.
Have you heard of Sonia Massey?
There? No, I'm not saying that
Have
doesn't.
you heard of Breonna Taylor?
Is it on the same level? Like you're being disingenuous if you say
You said there
on
aren't
the same
public
level.
lynchings. I'm
On
bringing
the
up
same
public
level.
lynchings. Have you heard
On
of
the
George
same level.
Floyd?
No, dude. If you're
I'm
gonna
just asking questions. Have you
no.
heard of these people or not?
I'm familiar with them, but if you're
Okay,
gonna
so
say
now
it's
do you
not
think
better,
that is? Do you think
if you're
that is
saying it's
different?
not- no, can I talk? Can I ask you a question? Because you asked me a question.
No.
Okay, I can't ask you a question. Then there's
No,
no point.
I won't answer your questions. I'm
Then
only
there's
going to
no
ask
point
you
in having a
questions.
conversation if you don't answer questions.
If
So
that's what you
only-
decide.
Yeah, I did decide that, and I
Okay.
won't talk to you because you're a bad faith talker.
Yes, sir, Massa. What else? Anything else
I
you
didn't say
got for
that.
me, Massa?
I didn't
Anything
say
else?
I didn't call you that.
Anything else?
That's disingenuous, man. You're being
Go
disingenuous.
ahead. No, tell me how I'm supposed to
reaching
run my
out to
live.
talk to
Please
you.
continue.
I didn't say that.
I
Well, it's
wasn't.
your life. Do what you want, but I think you're disingenuous.
Okay. What else? How he ran. He ran. How you gonna tell me how to run my own live, yo? That's crazy. All right, man. Y'all keep tapping the screen. Tap like. We got to get to 20K likes. I appreciate y'all coming. My name is Brother Legend. I'm here to raise your consciousness. Today we're talking about the benefits of sharing culture. I am a black person, so when I read that first question, it says, can black and white people benefit from sharing culture? And I think of how has my people benefited from sharing culture with white people? Can someone answer where on earth Europeans have landed and the people that they shared culture with has prospered and thrived and been able to live in perfect harmony and keep their culture intact? Europeans haven't even been able to keep their culture intact with other Europeans. When they come to America, they went from Italian and Irish, German and French to white. They came to America and agreed upon being part of an identity. The Italians and the Irish specifically, there's a book that talks about how they had to work their way into whiteness by showing the status quo that they were willing to disparage black people just as much as other white people. Irish people became police officers. They became government officials and continued the same system of racism that would help them assimilate into the idea of whiteness, and then eventually they were accepted. So when we talk about sharing culture, Europeans even have to cast aside their own culture to be included into whiteness. So where has black people been able to remain intact with their culture in the presence of a white community? And the second question we didn't even get to, but are marriages between black and white people ethical? All right, I'm going to the next guest. We're going to bring some people up. We want you to answer the question. Keep tapping like, y'all, as you listen along. Chi, give us your age, race, and pronouns, please.
Mexican. What was that? What was the questions?
Not your nationality, but your age, your race, and your pronouns.
Oh, okay. He, 42. I'll say indigenous Mexican.
All right, talk to us.
I just want to say that I appreciate, hearing, yourself, man. I appreciate you as a person. I wish a lot of other, brothers of African descent would have the same mentality and would like the culture that's rich, from Africa. And I know that there's been a lot of back and forth between the indigenous and all the things that's going on. But just want to say how I see how you're a proud African and African American, and I appreciate that, man. That's all.
Okay. Yeah, absolutely. I would say, I know the identity crisis inflicted upon the African American specifically. I'm speaking specifically of African Americans. There's an identity crisis across the globe because of racism, white supremacy. But in America, black people have had an identity crisis induced by their oppression. So you may find content, you may find lives where African Americans are claiming to be the original indigenous Americans. And I just want to say that I've only seen these people on the internet. I think it's part of a greater push by Republican/white people to get black people that have this identity crisis created by them to associate themselves with the land they were brought to, as opposed to the land they were taken from, because the land they were taken from is still being taken from. And so there would be insurgents in the midst of America if we were to radicalize and feel allegiance to defending our homeland, as opposed to telling us we're the Native Americans, and now this is our homeland, and we don't have to defend Africa as she's robbed.
No, you blew my mind with that. I appreciate you, brother. Man, everybody's culture is rich. I see that. Ours, African. I mean, everybody's culture is rich. I think it's good to get back to the roots, and I appreciate everybody's culture. I just man, you just blew my mind with that. So thank you for your content. Keep at it, man.
All right, I'll say peace.
Peace.
Anybody else want to come up? Feel free. The identity crisis online is manufactured. The identity crisis manufactured. I'm someone that grew up in Pan-African spaces. I'm someone that grew up in the black church. And never in my years have I seen somebody interrupt us during Kwanzaa, interrupt us during Black History Month, and say, whoa, 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 whoa. We're really the true indigenous Native Americans, guys. I've only seen that in the past 2 or 3 years, since 2020, if anything, on TikTok and other social media platforms. Some of y'all have fallen for the falling for the Kool-Aid, or drank the Kool-Aid rather. Smart sister, what's going on, Auntie?
Hey there, how are you?
I'm well. I'm well.
Good, good, good. Oh Lord, I've been having to stay away because these pretendians about to drive me crazy.
It's a push. It's an election year. It's a push.
Yes,
I'm telling you, it's coming from the right.
yes. It
Mm-hmm.
certainly is. It's just once again, divide and conquer. If you can't beat them, join them. So
Right.
that's a if you can't beat them, join them. So
Mm-hmm.
okay, instead of looking so plain like we're trying to divide black people, okay, how about we give Dane Calloway some information and let him put it out there, and then
Mm-hmm.
black folks jump on it, and then we're dividing them without them knowing it. And some
Mm-hmm.
of us have such a low understanding of who we are and low self-esteem that we'll believe anything,
Mm-hmm.
to feel that we're a part of something, and that rather than if you just study your own history and call it a day, you have all the pride and love and legacy you need. But
Right.
because so many of us are self-hating, then there you go. It just
Mm.
falls right into it. That's why I just don't understand these our people that just can't see the plan. It's right there in our face. They do it
Absolutely.
over and over and over and over again, and we still fall for the okie doke. But that's okay. The more they do it, the more we learn more of what we should be doing. That's the way I look at it. You can't get down in it. Oh, black folks ain't never gonna get it together. Yeah, we are. Every day that goes by, you're giving more and more information you need to find yourself, because that's what you
Absolutely.
got to do. You got to go in self. And once you get that together, then the sky's the limit to what you can do.
Yeah. Absolutely. Absolutely. Ashe. Ashe. Oh. All right. Yeah. We're here to reaffirm the identity of Africans worldwide and let you know that we are a proud people. We understand our culture. We understand our history. If you don't, we have a knowledge center in our nonprofit Discord. You can join us, www.b1initiative.org. We have books, we have lectures. We're starting a book club every Saturday at 7 Eastern, 6 Central. We are starting a book club starting on the 31st. So we're going to be listening to audiobooks together and commenting and having a discussion around it afterwards. We're doing it for 1 hour a week. So if anyone would like to join, other black people, other Africans around the world, actually, we have 900 Pan-Africans from around the world in our Discord. If you'd like to join us and learn more, then feel free. Bootsy, give us your age, race, and pronouns, please.
I don't do pronouns. That's the dumbest thing I've ever heard. How long was there slavery in the United States?
I'm sorry?
How long was there?
Yeah, he got blocked. I'm gonna say this. When it comes to African people, y'all actually don't do pronouns. Pronouns don't exist in many African languages. So that being the case, I understand that. But when a European comes up here and I ask them their pronouns, y'all have to answer. This is the language you forced us to learn. So I know you know how to speak it, and I know you know it updates. So let's not play dumb. Shaka, give us your age, race, and pronouns, please.
All right, peace, brother. My name is Shaka. Age 21. Pronouns he, him.
All right, talk to us, brother.
All right. Number one, can black and white people benefit from sharing culture? No, like it's the same thing over and over for the past 500 years, whether that's in the Caribbeans, here in America, or on the continent of Africa. These people, you know what I'm saying, they stripped us of all of our knowledge, our African spiritualities, our names, our culture in general, robbed us of our, you know what I'm saying, the power of our own being. You know what I'm
Mm-hmm.
saying? And I don't understand how some, you know what I'm saying, bootlickers And Buck then can sit right here and say integration. You know what I'm saying? Because the white T man, first off, they don't got no culture. Because if they did have culture, they wouldn't need to steal everybody else's culture, which
Damn.
they've been doing. Y'all been stealing culture. Y'all can't. All Rome was. Y'all love bringing up Rome, but look, Rome was stealing cultures. Rome built the foundation on stealing cultures. You know what I'm saying? And they got the nerve to get some of these white T folks who got the nerve to sit back and try to talk about our culture. You know what I'm saying? Don't know a thing about Africa. You know what I'm saying? Don't know nothing about the Yoruba spirituality system. You know, nothing about our customs. Nothing about anything we did. They never understood it. So we cannot benefit from sharing cultures because they ain't nothing but vultures. They took hip hop. You know what I'm saying? They want everything that we have, but they always trying to say we inferior. But they fear us though. So nah. Are marriages between black and white T people ethical? No, because you can't get freedom by sleeping. You can't sleep your way to freedom. And that is what it is. You can't sleep your way to freedom. Like, name one person who slept their way to freedom. You got so many people, black, you know what I'm saying, brothers and sisters all around the world sleeping with the devil. You know what I'm saying? And they ain't free. Some of them brainwashed. Some of them, when you talk to them, it look like they giving a crowd for help. You know what I'm saying? The power dynamic that the devil has in this relationships, all it takes is one tell for a black man to go to jail, and it takes only one time for a white T man to get angry for a sister to get unalive. You know what I'm saying? So it ain't ethical. Us being around these people in general ain't ethical. You know what I'm saying? Separation is the best and only solution. And I land my plane.
All right, I say, yo. All right, so we back on track. We was down 2, now we up. We back in balance. We back in Hotep. We back in balance. Some of y'all don't even know what Hotep mean, but we back. All right, let's go to the next guest. Jonathan, give us your age, race, and pronouns.
Hey, I'm 22, and it's he, him for my pronouns. And prompt says, can white
Your race?
people... Oh, I'm black.
Okay, talk to us.
And it says, can black people and white people benefit from sharing culture? Yeah. And can marriages between black and white people be ethical? Yeah, I don't care. It wouldn't matter between any race. It shouldn't matter.
All right, do you want to explain further?
I mean, why would the skin tone of somebody matter? I don't understand that.
Do you think race is solely qualified through skin tone? Like, that's the distinction in race?
Well, I mean, it could be many things. Like, whatever your phenotype, some people are going to phenotypically represent you as, you know? I mean, you could be mixed with freaking... I know one girl, she's mixed with it's not Mexican as in race, but she's mixed with Mexican and black, and she looks like she's light skinned. So it's like, I mean, some people consider themselves black and Mexican or Mexican. So I mean, I don't even know. But I mean, yeah, I don't really care. Interracial marriages happen.
Are you swimming in the milk?
Huh?
I said, are you swimming in the milk?
What do you mean by that?
She's asking if you eat a bowl of marshmallows with milk.
Yeah, why? Well, are you talking about marshmallows? No, I don't eat marshmallows. I eat cereal with marshmallows.
I got a question, brother. What color the tap dancing shoes is?
What?
Black, red, white, blue, yellow.
Well, I don't look in the tap dancing.
You just skipping across stage. Like, I used to love sleeping with missus. I used to love sleeping with missus. I used to love being around master, dressing up in the suits, going behind the glorified shower curtain, picking another master from another. I used to love doing that. I used to love being next to them white folks. And I love the integration. I love green casserole. I used to love that. I was a good Negro. I was a peaceful Negro. I was a little, I taught Master how to eat some grits, even a little pinto beans and collard greens, a little cornbread. I used to talk Master about Malcolm X and Martin Luther King. You know, I love Master. United States, I ain't leaving nothing in Africa. You left your mind in Africa, like Malcolm said. You left your mind coming up this.
Excuse me, Jonathan. Do you know what code switching is? I think he left. All right, we're gonna move on.
No, I'm still here.
Anyway, you came back too late, man. I already hit the button.
He came with so much anger too.
Hey, wait, man. I'm still here, man. All right. Oh, bring him
Y'all
back
not gonna
up.
make my stomach hurt today.
No, I walked away for a second. I'm over here making chocolate chip pancakes on my griddle, so
Okay.
yeah.
Jonathan, why do you sound like Mark Zuckerberg?
I don't know why you think I sound like that, but okay.
You don't know why at all?
I don't know why. I guess
Have you
this is
ever
where I
heard
was
of
born.
Have you ever heard of African American vernacular English or African American English?
I've heard African. No, I haven't heard of none of those really.
Wow.
Yeah,
Were you raised by white people?
no, black people.
Okay. And
Whole family's black.
are you in the black community?
Yes.
Which black community you're from?
I'm not going to say exactly what state because that's private information, but yeah,
Show us your forehead, Jonathan.
I can't because I don't have 1,000 followers, so
Hmm.
I don't know how I can do that, and it won't allow me because it says live access needed, stuff like that, and every time I try to do it, I don't know why TikTok just never allows me to
I'm
do
gonna
it.
give you 5 seconds to name a food that starts with the letter Y.
Letter Y. Dang, that's a hard one because I don't really know any foods off the top of my head. Start with the letter Y.
All right, so now you have more than 5 seconds. Go ahead and name something.
Could it be like anything?
Yo, the culture ain't in this one. I'm telling you right now, this is not someone I even consider black. He might have the phenotype, but all skin folk ain't kinfolk. You know what I'm saying? If you're not one of us in here,
Yolk. Yes.
Hey yo, I'm like, what are you talking about? Like a yolk around your neck? Like I'm like, what are you talking about? Like,
talking
No,
about
like off the
egg?
egg. Yeah, egg. So yeah.
An egg yolk. Oh my God.
Excuse what I'm about to say, brothers and sisters. But your black ass there say yams.
I mean, I wasn't even thinking about it. I'm sorry. I eat yams with yams a lot though.
What goes
I
on
eat
top
like
of yams, Jonathan?
I don't know. They're made out of sweet potatoes and stuff like that. So oh well.
I'm sorry, y'all. He got questionable noises in his background. I've had white tea men come up here and do questionable things. I don't know if you heard those squishy sounds, but I think that was a white man. Yeah, I think that was a white man playing on my phone right now. So I'm gonna block you, Jonathan. You have a nice day. I've had y'all weird ass white boys come up here before and do shit like that. I don't know. Y'all heard
That's
that,
crazy.
right? I'm not tripping, right? Okay.
That's crazy.
He's probably pleasuring himself, wishing he had a black
Yeah.
BDC.
Yeah, that's I can tell
Sorry
by
about
that
that, y'all.
run that Buggy is black. What's going on? Give us your age,
No,
race,
I'm
and
white as
pronoun.
hell. I'm white. Bro, I'm blonde hair, blue eyed. I'm the whitest white you'll get. But then again, I live in a predominantly black neighborhood. They call me Slim Shady. I do not conform to that.
Oh,
Okay.
I
wiggle.
don't even like
You
it
want
in
to be
there.
black.
I'm like,
You
bro,
want to be
stop calling
black.
me Eminem, please.
You want to be black.
What?
You want to be black.
Oh, of course I do.
It's no way you knew that run. How would
I
you
ain't gonna
know?
deny that.
How would you know
But
that run?
the thing is, it says can. I'm just commenting on the topic. Can black people and white
Before
people
you
benefit
comment
from
on the topic, you got to introduce yourself.
Oh,
Oh wow, that's a new one. I look like
Michael.
Little Richard. Go ahead.
Yee-hee. My name is Michael. What are the other things?
I didn't ask your name.
I'm 28 years old.
Okay.
Please don't ask me my pronouns.
Why not?
Shit, I'm a lord and a god. I don't even know, man. It just seems kind of odd because you could tell I'm a guy.
Are you a white person?
Yes, I am.
All right. So, do you not know English, the language of your ancestors,
Yes,
or
I know
your clan
English very well.
ancestors? I'm sorry.
Man, you hurt me there. You hurt me.
In English, there are pronouns. So there's he, she, and they.
Yeah, I'm a he, him.
All right, and your race is really white. You really pulled the
Yes, I'm white.
Krusty Krab pizza run.
I'm sorry I hit that run.
All right, so talk to us.
So just from the bullet point there, I think there can be benefits from sharing culture, of course, just like the French and the Chinese. They share culture. Now there's pho. It's delicious.
Are the French and the Chinese black and white people?
Do you want me to give you an example of black and white people sharing culture?
Yeah. What has white people shared with black people? Or what
Basketball.
has black... Oh, okay. So they shared basketball with black people.
And now it's the NBA. It's an amazing sport.
So
Everybody
you do
loves
know
basketball.
when basketball was first created, they still was telling Bill Russell and Wilt Chamberlain to get to the back of the bus, right?
Oh yeah, it was racist as hell, and I do not condone
Oh,
that.
so it was made for us though.
It was made for white people.
It was
so
made for us
everybody
though,
could be
even though
bored.
at first it started off as a predominantly white sport, but it was made for
No,
us
not
though.
predominantly. It was
But they
100% white people.
Boy, you
And I
that
agree.
wasn't sharing.
I agree.
That
Racism
was
is
we're
bad.
better than you and we took over the sport.
Yeah, that's
so
what-
that
that's what
wasn't
they
a
thought.
share situation. Did you know
But
black
now-
people created hockey?
Did they?
Mhm.
Yeah.
I love that.
Look it up. In
That's
Nova
hilarious.
Scotia, black
'Cause I thought it
people
was hilarious that a
that
white guy
went there.
created basketball.
What?
I just thought it was hilarious that a white guy created basketball, and black people are the best at it. You know. So
Why-
just
why do
We
you-
beat y'all
wait.
at everything we do. So
Why do you think black people are the best at basketball?
I mean, I have a lot of black friends. They always beat me at one-on-one. I don't know. That's really my experience with it. And then LeBron
That's
James,
just
Michael
because you're
Jordan.
recessive and unathletic. So
I am very athletic. I disagree with that.
no cave crawlers can't jump. You ain't heard?
All right, bro. Hey, I'm close to dunking. I don't want to hear that. I'm so close to dunking.
You didn't watch the movie Cave Crawlers Can't Jump?
You mean white people can't jump?
Nah, cave crawlers.
I haven't seen that
Really
one
the
yet.
devil. Really the devil.
What do you mean the devil?
You know what I mean, the devil.
Are you calling white people the devil? Please tell me you're not.
Because you're a wicked deceiver. Wicked by nature.
Man, my wife is black.
So
Token.
one day OJ Simpson won't have nothing on her.
What do you mean? OJ Simpson's dead.
And he won't have nothing on her.
I don't know what your point is, bro.
Hey, the brothers and sisters catch my drift, and you don't gotta know my point.
All right.
One day
Bro,
they'll get
my
to
wife is in the
one day
back.
there'll be a
My wife is
crime
in the
though.
back. She don't know what you're
There'll
talking
be a
about.
crime though saying that to a black man's face one day when we wake up. It's gonna be a whole nother day when you walk up in our face telling us that you sleeping with our women.
Okay.
Yeah, I know it is okay.
That's racism in itself.
That's not racism.
How is it not?
Because how is it adversely impacting your life?
That is not anything to do with racism. How is it impacting my life? It's not impacting my life.
Exactly.
Is it
Right.
impacting your life?
case closed.
Case
Is it
closed. It's
impacting-
not
wait.
racism.
Is it impacting your life? Yeah, exactly. It's not racism that I have a black wife who is pregnant. So I don't know how.
What?
I don't want there to be any division. There needs to be unity. There needs to be love. And that's why I like the conversation that's going on, and you guys aren't
What
interrupting me,
conversation?
and I respect that. The conversation.
Yeah, I'm moving on. I don't like it when they come up and they're all like playing around. Like, what are you guys talking about? Racism? That's stupid. Like, just kind of like joking around. Like, I
Right.
don't
And
like
you got
that.
a black wife. Right.
Yeah,
Okay.
right. Yeah,
And a
he
black
just made
child
that
on the
up.
way.
Right.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. I mean, shoot. We're gonna go to the next guys. I don't like the playing around attitude. Like, you know what I'm
Yeah.
saying?
The caucasity.
You feel me? I don't know, y'all. It keeps showing people are requesting, but they disappearing. So if you're requesting, then go ahead and request. Send the request up. Peace, D Lady. Thank y'all for sending gifts. Let the live know. Let the algorithm know that you're getting something from the live, some value. Big up to whoever sent me that Little Richard gift.
That was so cute.
Yeah, that was fruity tooty.
Oh, Rudy.
You have a bunch of numbers. 88. I'm gonna call you 88. Give us your age, race, and pronouns.
Hey, how's it going? So I'm Hispanic. My age is 25, and I go by he, him.
There are black Hispanic people. There are white Hispanic people.
Oh,
What
I'm
is your race?
black Hispanic.
All right, talk to us.
Hey, first of all, how y'all doing?
We're well,
We're
man.
great.
Nice.
In balance.
Here. So yeah, I was just looking at marriages between black and white ethical. Yeah, I think they're ethical. I have a couple friends that, they're they're married with different types of races, and they get along pretty good. I mean, it's really really cool.
If I were to kidnap a woman from her family and bring her to my living room and treat her pretty good, would you say that's ethical?
If you were to kidnap a woman, well, I mean, if
And she doesn't want to be there, but I treat her pretty
yeah,
good,
I don't think that's very ethical, because you technically kidnapped.
Okay. So you're saying that no matter how I treat that woman in the
I,
moment,
I mean, if you're gonna
hold
ask
on.
for a
Wait, hold
ransom,
on.
then
Hold on. So you're saying that no matter how I treat that woman in the moment right now, the context in which how she made it to my house would make our relationship unethical, correct?
yeah, yeah, because
Okay.
she doesn't want to be there. It doesn't matter if how you treat her. If she doesn't want to be there, she doesn't want to be there. Unless if you ask for a ransom, then I could join you. You'll get half and half.
Okay.
I know a couple of women we could take.
All right, be careful, man. We on TikTok.
Wow.
So at the end of the day, how someone ends up in an environment can make it can make the relationship hostile towards the person that did not give consent to join that environment. He left. Okay. What the hell is going on with my algorithm? Can someone explain what the hell is going on? Can someone explain? I've got nothing but weirdos today. Shaka and Smart Sister, I know. Like, I know them. Like, they're cool people. But everyone else that's come up here, I have not had one serious, like, human being this entire life. It's been nothing but, oh, it's Friday. No, it's not. It's Saturday. But
Is it a full moon? I always need to
yeah,
look at
like,
that.
I don't know what's going on tonight. Like, I haven't had one serious person this entire time. It's like everyone coming up here joking about we can go half on kidnapping something. Like, what the hell is going on right now?
Silly season.
Mm,
That's okay. Just keep dropping their asses.
pretty much.
Mhm.
Yeah, it went left. I don't know what's making it go left, but we're talking about culture and we're talking about anti-black racism, the system of racism, white supremacy. What about this is funny? What about this makes you want to joke? Tells us what kind of person you are when you come up here joking. Kind of weird. Kind of weird. What makes you think this is the place to come up and be funny? Well, we'll go to the next guest. Evan, I don't know your name. Give us your age, race, and pronouns, please.
My name's Evan, age 33. I am white presenting, Hispanic, and I'm he, him.
All right, talk to us.
So I think that white people and black people can benefit from sharing culture simply because the problems we've had long, many decades and a few centuries worth of problems is that originally there was no intent to understand and share cultures between the two groups. And so I feel that if we can begin to understand and be open to sharing culture, we can begin to understand the kinds of wounds that need to be healed and heal in that fashion. Do I think that marriage between black and white people is ethical? In the same respect, I think it is. I believe that marriage is a binding, a coupling for better. It's like an evolution of a single person into a combined unit to carry on a legacy, to build a legacy. So I do believe it's ethical. I don't see why it shouldn't be.
Can I ask a question, Brother Legend?
Mm-hmm.
I would like to know what culture have white people shared with us?
To our benefit.
Yeah, just stay in keeping with the question.
Well,
What have
and
they shared?
the question says, can they? So it's
We're not answering the question again. She's asked a clarifying question
right.
of what culture has been shared with black people that has benefited them
From white people.
from white people.
I individually cannot tell you because I come from Latino culture. So I'm not.
There's black people down there, correct?
Yes.
All right. So what culture has Spaniards or Spanish people shared with Afro Latinos or Black Hispanic people that they benefited from?
Well, I was raised in that even today, the culture of cuisine is the universal language by which communities can be built on. I share many of my family's cuisines with others who I don't understand language-wise, and they themselves share their cuisines with us as a base language of understanding. From there, we get into other aspects of life.
How does learning a language benefit like us, like our brothers and sisters over there, though? Just because you teaching them a language.
Because we are neighbors, and if we're going to live in the same community, we need to understand each other. And food.
What community is that? Would that be? What community are you from? Are you,
I'm from Nuevo Laredo.
Okay, where is that exactly?
Texas, right on the border of on the Mexican side.
Okay, so we know Mexico freed their slaves before the United States did. We're aware of that. But wouldn't you say your culture is a total mixture of African culture? And we do know the Moors ran Spain for 800 years, so we won't. Even the Spanish were influenced by us. So once again, what culture? If you're saying you're white, you're claiming the white part of a Mexican, then what part of that? What benefited black people? Like I
I
said,
can only
other
tell
than
you
y'all freeing.
what benefit. I can only tell you what benefited the black people in my community and around me, as a base. That you're asking a very generalized question, and I'm giving that answer in the same respect. And I believe I
Well, you can
answered.
speak for white folks here. When you read the
Oh no,
prompt,
I I do not
you were
speak for.
speaking of. Well, you
I s-
said that we could benefit each other. I mean, I'm just trying to make sense. I'm trying to bring it home to you personally, but um, since that's not really working, if we're talking about going back to the white people and black people, everybody understands what that means here in the United States. Then I just want to know, what have white people ever done to benefit us culturally?
Forcing us to learn their language is not sharing culture, by the way.
No.
Because if it was sharing, then you would know some African words.
that is
It,
true.
it,
Well,
it
maybe
wouldn't it
like
wouldn't it
I
wouldn't
actually
just
moolah.
be
would.
it wouldn't just be Africans and black people forced to learn Spanish. There would be Spanish people learning African.
We wouldn't have y'all. We wouldn't have forced names on us either.
You're right. You wouldn't have first names, which happened before. You wouldn't. You would have an understanding and a mutual learning of both languages on both sides. Yes,
So
and
how
that's a
do we
benefit. That's a
benefit?
benefit of sharing culture.
But
But it has not been in the
the thing
past.
that we're speaking to, Evan, is sharing culture under duress and coercion. Is that really sharing?
Well,
Right.
under duress and coercion, no, that's forced. But of course, that's not the prompt. We're talking about, can it benefit from
It's not
sharing?
the prompt. So you
Right.
saying that black people decided to come to Mexico and name themselves black, white people, they just, conveniently named themselves white and they just lived happy on the field together and said, "Hey, you know what? We're over here, you're over there. Let's share culture, guys. We'll share some food with you and you share some slavery with us. How about
Right.
that? Yeah, we'll be your slaves. How like maybe we can do that." And then even today, you're saying that anti-black racism that was created on the as a justification for that slavery that still exists. You're saying that black people are just saying if I cast aside my Africanness and my blackness and try to assimilate into this white culture, it'll benefit me. And I just think that that's a fair trade. Yeah, if I just assimilate, that's not coercion at all. That's not duress. That's not some sort of influence that I did not choose to participate in. That casting aside or distancing myself from my blackness is do you see what I'm saying here? You're saying this is
Yes,
all
and see,
consensual.
no, I certainly see where you're going with that, but you would
Hmm.
not be accepting slavery or an assimilation if you're going to try and share culture in trying to heal any sort of wound, which it is very clear, is very deep for y'all.
So
So
even then, when we appropriate into y'all
It's very
culture,
wait, hold on. He just did something interesting right there. He said the wound is very deep for us.
Hmm.
Isn't that interesting? So
Hmm.
if someone were I don't know how knowledgeable you are about psychology, but if a burglar ran into your home and you had to take care of that. You know what I'm saying?
Right. Which I have. I actually
Oh,
have
okay.
personal experience. So
And
continue.
and who do you think? And let's say the burglar were to be unalived. Would you say then that the person on the ground is wounded, and the person that did this, in the first place, is not? Would you say there's no wounds to the other person?
No, I
Maybe,
do believe that
maybe
there are wounds on both
psychological
sides.
wounds.
No, I do agree there are wounds on both sides. But with that, keeping with that, you and I are then the kids of the kids of the kids of those two initial individuals. Do we continue that?
Y'all still continuing
Yes,
it. That's the
that's
thing.
my specialty, intergenerational trauma.
It is, yeah, yeah.
Yes,
She's
sir.
actually,
Oh
yeah.
no, so you would intentionally continue the feud because of what your great grants
No,
did.
no, you're
It's
not
not the
understanding.
feud. We
Okay.
said the psychological wounds of that situation. So
Continue.
how
Yes.
your family continues to cope with things, how you your lens on the world, all that is affected by that trauma.
So if I had the great grandkids of the burglar coming to my great grandkids with the intent, or they're both intending to try and heal those wounds, what way could they do that? Acknowledge what happened in the past, acknowledge that they are not their greats, and the only way that they could find commonality and evolve is to share culture. Whether or not it happened in the
Oh,
past, whether or not it's expected to happen now or into the future, you first have to acknowledge that you want to intend to share culture
You
to
keep doing
heal.
it. You keep doing it.
Oh,
It keeps flying over his head. Go ahead, Africa the Bunks. I know
No,
you got something for us.
I'm using
Evan,
Null's scenario so far.
I know, but
Evan,
you keep overlooking the
what we're
context of this
saying.
conversation.
Your premise is it doesn't make sense, and I think your premise, the reason it doesn't make sense, is because you're continually talking about this wound in the past tense, and if the wound is in the past tense, my first question, Evan, is what year did it become past tense? So what year did the kind of violent racism that we've seen across the world, and like the violent anti-blackness that black people have to navigate, when did that end? And when did it become a past tense? When did it become a past tense wound?
It's not past tense,
So why are we
but
talking about it in the past tense?
be-
We're
because
talking about we're talking about like
for every moment that goes by, it does become past tense. And
it's
until the very moment,
Evans
until the very moment, we decide on both sides to stop and to.
Evans. This once again, this both sidism is jarring my brain because once again, if I'm telling you that like anti-blackness never stopped, why is anyone talking about the past? Why are you making analogies about my great great grandparents as if anti-blackness is something I'm reading in a book?
Because I'm trying to get across to you that it is possible to benefit from a shared culture.
Okay,
If
and let's. You know what, Evans? Can we get into that? Actually, that's quite interesting. This, and I know that you said that like I think if I followed your logic correctly, you said that like we can black and white people we can benefit from sharing culture. And the example you brought up is like in parts of Latin America that people speak Spanish and are able to have a shared language where they're able to communicate and share ideas. Is that what you were saying? Correct?
no, from what I was saying is that in my community at least, a lot of the coming together as a community because we were geographically a community, but to become socially and culturally a community, we shared our food and we
You said
shared our
okay.
art. And in exchange, we learned.
So hold on. Giving
No,
people
no,
scraps, giving
Evan,
people
I mean,
scraps.
if I want
Evan,
to
no,
chop it off,
Shaka,
it's
I want to hear what
perfectly
Evan has to
fine. I
say.
get it.
Evan, so you said food, you said art. What else? What else has been shared?
food, art, music,
Okay, music. Okay, that's great. Oh,
and at that, and then from there, eventually, language,
oh,
verbal and
language as
oral.
well. Okay. Can we
It,
examine? Can we examine a
that's
few
it.
of those things, Evan, please? Who's the biggest? Who's the biggest Latin American star in the world?
I'm sorry,
Who's the biggest Latin American star in the world?
I couldn't tell you.
You don't know who the biggest Latin American star is? I'm black all the way in the UK, and I know who the biggest Latin American star is.
It's not
Evan, I'm
my
gonna ask you
area.
again.
Go ahead.
Evan? If you have any kind of insight into Hispanic culture, there's only one number one. Who is the biggest Hispanic artist in the world?
I couldn't tell you. That's not my particular
All right,
interest.
Evan, I'm going to tell you. The biggest Hispanic artist in the world is Bad Bunny, and it's Bad Bunny by a country mile.
I couldn't tell
Now,
you who the biggest
it's
USA.
it's Bad Bunny. It's Bad Bunny. His name is Bad Bunny. He's Puerto Rican. Now, what color is Bad Bunny?
Light brown.
Is- Come on, Evan, if we're gonna have a discourse, we have to have like Evan. Whether we agree or disagree, when I'm speaking to you, I'm being honest with you. And all I ask is that you be honest with me in return.
I am.
You know, you know what color Bad Bunny is. All right. You know Bad Bunny is not black, and no one is ever gonna confuse him for being black. Now,
Right.
follow the logic with me. What kind of music does Bad Bunny make? Because we're talking about sharing cultures, right?
Right.
What kind of music does Bad Bunny make? Bad
Makes
Bunny make.
hip hop. I
Oh,
believe.
he makes hip hop and
I don't listen to Bad
reggaeton.
Bunny. I'm not gonna lie. I don't listen to Bad Bunny.
All right,
Bad Bunny's not my thing.
Bad Bunny makes hip hop and reggaeton,
Okay.
and Bad Bunny and like white people didn't like people that look like Bad Bunny didn't create hip hop and reggaeton. Hip hop and reggaeton are both black music.
Okay.
Why is it that the biggest artist in the world, with the biggest hit? What if this is a fair exchange of cultures? Why is it like the beneficiary of the culture share seems to be like it doesn't seem to be us? It seems to be Bad Bunny, and Bad Bunny doesn't look like me or Brother Legend, but the creators of reggaeton and hip hop look like me and Brother Legend. There's a disconnect here. Now, Evans, follow this logic with me. Who is the most famous Spanish artist in the world ever? Evan, come on.
Go ahead. I couldn't tell you.
Evan, who's the only Spanish artist you can think of? Come on,
He's on the
Evan.
radio every day.
Evan, who's the most
No, I
famous Spanish?
Shakira is not the only one I
No,
even comes to mind.
not musician, but Shakira makes black music as well. But I'm talking about painters. Who's the most famous black Spanish painter ever?
I wouldn't know.
His name is Pablo Picasso. He lived in the early 20th century in Spain. What kind of art did Pablo Picasso make? What kind of art made Pablo Picasso famous? It is Cubism. It is Cubism that he stole from West African art. The Cuban. You can see you can see Pablo Picasso, and you can see the transition of his stuff before he was introduced to African art, and after he was introduced to African art, it was the Cubism that was directly inspired by African art that made him world famous. If there's this shared like culture where we both benefit from, why is there's all these examples, Bad Bunny, Shakira, Pablo Picasso, who have become rich over Africanized cultures, but I can't think of any Africans who are rich over Spanish cultures. Can you think of any Africans who are rich over Spanish cultures? Evan, I can't think of any. Can you think of any African who has become rich off of something that Spanish people have created?
No, I cannot.
I can think of many white Spanish people who are rich off of things that black people created.
But does that mean that there's none just because you can't think of them?
Evan, okay. Brother Legend, can you think of any?
No. Nope.
Evan, it seems like there's three brains here and none of us can think of one, but all of us were able to think of like white people who was able to flow out of our heads. Why is that?
Yep, Ricky Ricardo or Arnez, whatever his name is.
Desi Arnaz.
Desi Arnaz, right? Yeah, he
Yeah, what's his
definitely.
name? Mr. Worldwide.
But he didn't
Oh
help
yeah,
black folks with nothing.
Pitbull. Yeah, Pitbull.
Like
Yeah.
Fat Joe.
Fat Joe. Yeah, that's a good
No,
one.
Evan, can you see that there's a lopsided culture exchange here? Evan, are you starting to understand where black people are coming from? That this culture exchange that you're talking about has never been a fair culture exchange.
Well, in that regard, there's a lot of black people who choose to use their forms of art that have made them equally famous. So
Evan,
But
there
that's
is
not
an
the
exchange.
question we're talking
It's
about.
because
What we're not going to do is pivot away from the question I just asked.
no. I'm not pivoting.
Yeah, you are,
I'm just
because we're
saying.
talking about the exchange between black and white people. We're not talking about black people getting rich off black people's culture. We're talking about white people sharing culture with black people, or black people sharing culture with white people.
So
When
Evan,
has it benefited?
Yeah, Evan, what we've been able to just establish between me, you, and Brother Legend, we've been able to reel off like 10 different names of people who have become of white passing Hispanic people. Jennifer Lopez again, white passing Hispanic people who have become rich off of black culture. I'm asking you just to name one black person who has become rich off of Spanish culture. Just one.
Okay, so I think we missed something here.
I don't think we missed something.
We have, because you are
Simple
specifically
question.
stating that all of these people took only black culture and got famous off of it, when in reality it was a fusion of their culture and black culture that made them famous.
But the fusion was done under duress. That's the thing. When you say it was a fusion and the cultures just collided and came together, you're not acknowledging that Africans were brought here in chains. So,
I'm
that's
not
like me
disregarding that.
kidnapping
I'm
someone
not
and
disregarding
forcing her to cook in my kitchen and saying, "Wow, you make really good food. Thanks for sharing this with me." No, you forced her to be here. She didn't choose to line up on the shores of Africa and come to the New World for opportunity.
Yeah, Evan, what we're not going to
I
do.
don't
what we can't-
disregard
what-
any of
Evan,
that.
Evan, what we can't do is take away the context where these black cultures have been created. So hip hop was created in protest of the racialized dynamics. Reggaeton was created in protest of the racialized dynamics. Like African cubism was stolen from Africa while Spain was violently colonizing parts of Africa. We have to understand the context of these cultures and where these cultures come from and where these examples that we're talking about come from. This is not just like a benign fusion of like, oh, black people and Spanish people, we all existed on an island and we shared our cultures. No, these black cultures came out of like marginalization and the black experience. That's why they exist. And those cultures have been co-opted by many people who are not black, who are white passing Spanish or white passing Spanish speaking people. And all I'm asking is, if there's so many examples that we can think of like when people who are white passing have become rich off of black culture, why if we can all benefit from culture exchange, shouldn't there be examples on the other side?
I'm sure there are, but again, I pointed out that just because we can't think of them, does not disregard the fact that they're, doesn't make it that they don't exist.
Even the fact that we can't think of them shows that they either don't exist or they're rare. Because they're not.
They don't exist because even Spanish culture comes from African culture. If we really want to talk about the Moors,
Like I said, the Moors.
yeah, like at the end of the day, even the culture that you claim is Spanish is not indigenous to Europe. But we know it doesn't exist because you're on a panel with at least Africa Debunked, Shaka, Smart Sister, and myself that study these things on a daily basis. Y'all, the nonprofit B1 Initiative the link is in my bio. If you want to donate to 501c3 nonprofit, if you want to join us and learn more, you can do that as well. The Discord link is in my bio. Go to our website and click Discord to join us. But yeah, so we actually do know there's no example of a black person benefiting from white culture. We know that for certain, but we're asking you to think of it because we know it doesn't exist, and we just like watching you squirm. To be honest.
you took it to a high level of who's the biggest person, in certain genres in the world. There's not going to be a large amount, and you're going to discount so many
Then white folks
individuals
take it
and
to a higher
communities
level
that
first.
actually have,
But
Then
I
y'all
think what
take it
you're
to
things and
missing
shared their
We're
culture
is,
to
missing.
make
Wait,
them
Evan,
better.
we're missing examples, but you couldn't name one. But when it
Just
came, but you couldn't name
again,
one, Evan. You couldn't name a single black person. But we could name. We were able to name J Lo. We were able to name Fat Joe. We were able to name Bad Bunny. We were able to name Pablo Picasso. Like, how is it we're able to reel off names when it's one on one side, but on the other side we're not able to reel off any names? Nobody's been able to reel off a name. I think that's fascinating, Evan. And I think if you're being honest, there's a dynamic here that you're not being that you clearly don't want to see. Because the dynamic here is that if there's a culture exchange, one side has benefited massively off of that culture exchange, and not so much the other side.
correct. And it's okay. It just is what it is. And coming together and singing and eating some Tex-Mex food. Okay, that's not gonna do it.
okay,
That's
so
not gonna do it, and it's okay. We understand what's going on. Half of the education we're trying to do, not only for our people, but you all are gonna have to understand. Uh, where we. Well, you don't have to understand where we're coming from,
no,
but what
I
we're
really think I
saying
do.
is.
So because you've named a few top heads, disregarding
But we're talking
all the
about
people not
overall.
mentioned, then there is no clear
But you can't
benefit to
mention
sharing
those people,
culture.
so you're bringing it up to dilute the conversation down to an imaginary,
Exactly.
hypothetical
It's not imaginary.
nonsense. Yeah, it is
Communities
because you
exist
don't
from
Yes,
know
it
it.
sharing of
is.
Because
culture.
you can't bring it up to just say it exists because you say so is to basically, it's actually demeaning to us as black people for you to say something exists with no evidence. That's something your
Right.
ancestors did on plantations. To just say it because I said so. Like
Exactly.
that's basically what you're doing. Like
Evan,
we're
Evan,
trying to
Communities
have
are
a
going to
genuine
thrive by
conversation
sharing
here.
of culture.
Evan, when me and Brother Legend said that, like, there are white people, there are white passing people who benefit from black culture, we didn't just say our opinion. We said there's white people that benefit from black culture. Example A, example B,
Examples.
example C, example D.
Mm-hmm.
Like, Evan, if you're saying that these
Well, that
things
sounds like
exist
a
on,
confirmation bias more than anything. Then
that's not how is it confirmation bias to give you examples?
Right.
you give me
Just look
examples
at
that fit
American
your
culture,
narrative,
period.
Okay,
Look at
okay. Now,
American culture,
disregarding that whole
all
period.
right.
communities exist
Look what
because they've
we've
been sharing
done.
culture.
The logical response to that would be to give me examples that counter my narrative.
And if you have none, don't speak as if they exist. It's basic.
Exactly.
Like that's it. Like pull them up. We need receipts. I'm gonna go to the next guest though. I can hear Evan's brain whirling and whizzing as the gears turn.
No,
So
I just
it's all right, Evan. We don't want you to overheat, man. We're gonna
You
go to the
trying,
next
that's
guest.
all right.
no,
All
I
right,
appreciate being here, but
all right.
I don't disregard.
Yeah, we're gonna move on. Vanessa, give us your age, race, and pronouns, please.
Hello,
Peace. Give us your age, race, and pronouns.
I'm in my 40s.
Your age, race, and pronouns.
I'm a woman, she, her, and I'm a member of the human race. I am a cross or a mixture. I am a black woman in America with Latin roots, Native American roots, and the
Don't come up here if you
Yeah,
don't know
here
your
we come
race.
with that.
Please don't
Hmm.
come up here if you don't know your race. We're not going to have this discussion with you. We need people that know how they are classified in the dominating world social caste system of race. The oppressive caste system of race is the theme of this live, and we are talking about it truthfully. So let's not say the human race because that doesn't even make sense. Human is a species in the first place. But anyway, uh, Nelly, give us your age, race, and pronouns, please.
Hi, I'm Nellie. I am black. I'm 67 years old. And
All right.
yes,
All right. Talk to us, Nelly.
okay. I have seen and experienced racism a lot. I've grown up in the South, in North Carolina. I've seen the signs where I grew up whenever they had the colored uh, water fountains and the white water fountains. I grew up in that era back in 65 and that type thing. So I've seen a lot of that, experienced a lot of that growing up. And black people are very talented people, and I've seen over the years how we have educated ourselves, and innately we are smart. And I've seen how do you say, white tea people? Is that how you say that on this live? Have literally stolen from black people all our life, have stolen patents and patents for our music, to even today our dances. They don't love us, but they love our style, our clothes, everything that we do. They might not love us, but they definitely like the way we move and the things about us. They'll steal our style, our dance, and then they'll get a group. I think back to Boys to Men, and every time we have a group, they will get a white tea group to counteract the black group and put them out there. Eminem, same thing. Come on, people. You cannot. White people are great copiers of what black people do, and they steal, rob, steal. They just rob, steal from been doing it for years and years and years. Go back to BB King and all of them. They crafted that music, but look who, Elvis Presley, they put him out as the king of rock and roll, king of come on, y'all. Come on. Who made the money off of it? Really, dude? I was sitting here about to bite my tongue, trying to keep my composure. All the rip-offs of the music and everything else that we have done, that white people have taken credit for, and we didn't get the credit for it. I was looking at a thing, even the potato chip. A black chef made the potato chip quite by accident because a white woman was complaining. He had to go back in the kitchen and make it thinner and thinner till he finally got it so thin and refried it and put salt on it, and they loved it. But do he get any credit for it? No, I just happened to be reading Black History where he did that. But now Lay's and everybody else got potato chips. I didn't even realize that till the other day. You see what I'm saying? All kinds of things.
Too.
Come on now. You know what I'm
Girl,
saying?
you know, I'm your age too. And girl, you know, George Washington Carver made peanut butter. And it ain't Jiffy and it ain't Skip.
Come on. Girl, you better shut up. Let me mute myself, but I just had to get it off my chest, you know.
Get it off, honey. Go ahead.
You know, and these people come up talking about sharing my culture. You ain't sharing your culture. It's our culture that you regurgitating back to us. Shut up. You're preaching to the choir. You know, I'd be like, you can't tell us nothing. Y'all our cousins. You just don't want to admit it. Come on, you just come out the Caucasus Mountains because all you did was got a little lighter, but you came from Egypt if you really want to know the truth about it. You know, come on now. Now, let me mute so somebody else can say something. I'm just going to chill for a little bit. And that's all. I'm a yield back to y'all and let you speak.
All right. Thank you for that, Nelly. Appreciate you coming up and sharing that with us. A little wisdom for us. And don't forget to keep tapping like, y'all. Tap like as you listen along. We've got 48K likes. We got to get to 75. So keep tapping like. Also sending gifts, sharing the live with somebody you know that knows the smell of a hot comb and Dax hair grease from their childhood. Hopefully they don't do it now. That's why I said from your childhood. Y'all better not be using a hot comb in 2024. Unkink the knots in your mind, not your hair. You know what I'm saying? And also share the live with someone who can see their lips with their mouth closed. You know what I'm saying? If your lips are thicker than a Snicker, big foreheads and bonnets. Y'all know who I'm talking about. Share the live with a brother or sister so we can get on the right algorithm. Appreciate that. Lawyer, give us your age, race, and pronouns, please. Lawyer Destroyer.
I wanted to say that black and white are political status. They have nothing to do with nationalities of people. So when people come on
Brother,
here
you
and
got to
say
start off with your age, your race, and your pronouns first.
Please.
I'm black or I'm white, I'm 40, and like I said, race is what they classify as race. Those are
Did
political
you say you're black,
status.
you're white?
No, I said what y'all call black or white don't describe a nationality of people. They are
No, I know,
political
but where
status.
did you say your race was?
I don't have a race. I have a nationality.
Okay, and who gave you your nationality?
God.
God gave you your nationality?
Right. It doesn't come from man. What I am does not come from a man.
Okay, and what God are we talking about?
The same God that made everything in this world that you see.
Okay, and what's the name of this God, or where can I find him?
What do you mean, what's the name? They call God everything, the creator of all.
Who taught you his name was God? Why do you call him God?
The same person, the same way that we call a rock, and we subscribe to that's a rock. Or
Why
that
is
we
God a
subscribe
he?
to that's water.
What's on your driver's license?
I don't have a driver's license.
I could tell. Okay, so
Okay.
you sound like you ride on horseback.
No, I don't drive. I know the law. So I'm saying that what y'all
The
trying to
law.
describe.
Okay, so whose law do you
Are
know?
you a Moor?
Stella
Is he
blocked
one of
him.
the Moors?
Nah, he ain't no more. I don't know what
He ain't no. I don't know what that is. I mean, it's so sad. You know, that's that one race, the human race type.
Yeah, we're
When
all
the
made of
white T man
stardust.
said it was 5 races. And just because it's not what you call, it's what you answer to.
Mm.
And I get so tired of these people. I ain't black, I'm melanated. Well, what color is melanin? Dumbass.
Melanin is
Black.
derived, right? Yeah, it's
Okay.
yeah.
Black is one of the, I told y'all, I looked it up. Black is one of the 23 oldest words known to man, whatever language you speaking. Okay, black
Mm-hmm.
is right there. So, we rather fight over semantics than to sit up here and do the work we supposed to be doing.
Right.
So, miss me.
Fighting over semantics makes people sound smart when they can't back it up with actual research. You know what I'm saying? So, Summer Rain, give us your age, race, and pronouns.
39, white tea, she, her.
All right, talk to us.
I just have a question for you guys. I don't understand why,
We don't answer questions. You can tell us how you feel.
Okay. Well,
Mm-hmm.
I personally feel like if a white supremacist created all these categories, put everybody in these categories, why would you even want to align with that same thinking? Because I am with lawyer on this. We don't need labels like that. There are some individuals that are half black and half white, right? So every time they come on and say I'm mixed, oh, well, that's not your race. You're either black or white. So they have to completely ignore half of their genealogy which I totally disagree with.
Do you
I'm just saying,
understand genetics?
putting people in
Do you
categories.
Don't do
do you
that, Shaka. Don't
understand
do that,
genetics?
Shaka. Don't do that, Shaka. Don't do that. Hold on. Shaka about to go. Shaka about to dive into the deep end of the pool. Like we ain't there. We ain't even in the construct of race. So she said that race is a label that was determined by white supremacists. So why would black people want to categorize themselves consensually as black? Is that what you're saying?
Correct.
Okay. Okay.
Why would you go wrong with that?
That's a good. That's a interesting question.
So you did study the
So are
black
you
community?
saying?
In
So
my opinion, when he did these categorizations, and if you look it up, Jews were
why
at
do
the
you say
bottom.
he?
Well, because from my research, and I don't know his name, I do know that part of it was Schmittler. I can't say his name,
No,
but
it wasn't him.
it wasn't. I know it wasn't him, but I'm saying he got the idea from those individuals that started
Why are you
that,
bringing him up though? Because the idea of race existed before him.
because Jews were on the bottom before they were under
That was
the black.
only in Germany,
Right.
and
And
racism
black people died
existed
in it
in.
too.
Yeah, smart sister, we know, but why are you bringing up like that's just
Right.
like we're all the way in 1948. Like racism didn't exist for hundreds of years in the United States before World War II. Like I hear you, but I mean Schmittler didn't come up with race, so.
Mm-mm.
No, I didn't say that he did. I said that he was, categorizing
But
people.
why is that relevant to the topic of black and white people? Why we're
He
not
kept
talking about World War II?
guys is you cannot in 2024. You have to stop. We all have to stop categorizing people
Hey,
because
brother, let you want to know something crazy? They
there
always bring up mustache man, but they never want to talk about Leopold.
there's
They
people
don't
that
never
have
want to talk about
Mm-hmm.
Leopold.
You
Native
sounding
American.
like Jim Clyburn from the United States government. Stop sloganizing. Stop talking about it. If we stop talking about it, then it's gonna go away.
Stop talking about it's gonna
Stop.
go away. Everyone black, everybody black that's watching the live right now. I want you all to close your eyes and stop identifying as black and let me know tomorrow if somebody treats you like you black. Let me know.
Right.
If all we have to do, according to Summer Rain, is stop just thinking
Well,
like you black. Just stop it. Just close your eyes and imagine a world where blackness don't exist and let me know if you are still going to run into when you get pulled over next. All you had to do, see, this whole time we've been having issues with George Floyd, Sonia Massey, Takia Young. We done had issues with Breonna Taylor. Say her name, she ain't getting no justice. We just heard that in the news. She ain't getting no justice. Justice for Breonna Taylor. We've been having all these issues with police. Turns out, brothers and sisters, all we had to do this whole time was just stop identifying ourselves because we're the ones that chose this. So stop it, you. Stop identifying as black and it'll all go away. That's what it sounds like
Right.
to me.
So
Lord, I closed my eyes one time and I tried to actually pretend as if the things were. Okay, that's too much. So I closed my eyes at one point and I was trying to pretend that, I wasn't being put in the handcuffs or racially profiled. But when I opened my eyes up again, I was still in those cuffs. Experiment failed.
Yeah, I tried to close my eyes and act like nobody, everybody in the store was staring at me. I opened my eyes, they still staring. Oh God, Johnson, he's going to the chicken area.
Right. Go on with Morgan Freeman because he the one that said stop talking about it. The voice of God, Morgan Freeman.
Right.
Can I respond?
Please.
What?
She wants to speak again.
I was just asking if I could respond. I just believe that's what it's going to be in the future. It may not be that way now, but we need to get rid of it on the driver's license and all that kinds of stuff. We're probably going to be listed as light, medium, or dark. I mean, honestly, because this is a melting pot.
Why would we want to? All right. Hold on.
A melting pot of what?
Wait, hold on, smart sister, please. Y'all gotta let me do the line of questioning
Yeah,
here.
go ahead.
So, why would it be beneficial for us to not have the construct of race, but to instead have the construct of light, medium, and dark? Like, what? How would that be beneficial? Why do we need to know light,
Well, I
medium,
think
or dark?
if you're describing a person, like if probably only in the police force or where you're just, I don't
Why
think it
would the
should matter.
police need to know the race of someone?
I agree with you on that. I think that race should really just be taken completely off the table.
Why would they need to know if someone is light, medium, or dark?
But if they're looking for a person, someone that's lost or something, they're going to give the eye color, what they were wearing, and they may give the skin tone. But as far as when you fill out an application or anything like that, I don't think anyone has the right. When you fill out a loan application, they don't have the right to know what your race is. That's not important.
Okay. And so if it's so unimportant, why do we still see racism?
That's a good question. That's a good question, but I do
I think I'm
believe.
asking the right person, I would
I think
assume.
that I think that racism exists, absolutely, but I do think it's wrong that you guys judge everyone that said, and a lot of you feel that all white people are racist, and I don't agree with that.
So when you say you guys and a lot of you, I hear the N word, but I know you probably mean you're generalizing black people, which to me is the N word.
Correct.
But so
Why would that be that for you?
because you're generalizing black people, so that's usually the N word. Are you a racist?
No, I'm not a racist.
How do you know?
Well, because I don't believe in that whole come to dinner, all that kind of stuff. I don't believe in that. I believe racism is taught. And
Who taught it to people?
well, if you are a racist and your parents were racist and their parents were racist, my parents were not racist and I'm not racist. And there's a lot of states that never
How do you
had
know your
slaves.
parents weren't racist?
Because I would know, I would hear
How would you know?
or I would hear, certain things. I haven't never heard that.
So
There were a lot of white people that fought for your freedom. There were a lot of white
So, what makes you the
states.
expert on determining what is racist and what is not?
right, please teach us so we black people can know which white people are racist or not, because we've needed this for a long time. So if you could tell us how you were able to indicate who's racist and who's not, it would actually help protect us. Please let us know.
Well, you're absolutely right. You would have to be a mind reader. And no one can read someone's mind.
Darn. So you're a mind reader and we don't have that ability. Damn. All right, Professor Xavier.
Dang, man. She must have gotten cast for the movie Chronicle. Do you have telekinesis?
I mean, damn. I wish I was an X-Men. Anyway, I guess in the meantime,
If you're pulled over by the police, you automatically assume that they're pulling you over because you're black. And I'm sure in some situations they are. But how do you know 100%?
what makes you think I would assume that they're pulling me over because I'm black?
Because you guys talk about it all the time.
Who is you guys? Because you said you didn't believe in race and you weren't a racist. So when you say you guys, who the hell are you talking about?
Black Americans.
Wait, but you said you don't believe in race, and that's what makes you not a racist.
No, I didn't say that racism did not exist.
I know, but you said you weren't a racist. So you said racism exists, but you said that your parents weren't racist and you were not a racist. When I asked you how you knew, you said because you don't believe in the construct of race. So now when you say you guys believe that police will pull you over because you're black, I'm asking you, who is you guys?
If you're around a person, you're going to know if they're racist or not because they're going to make racist comments. They're going to say things.
So so if a racist person doesn't say a word to me, they're not racist because they didn't say anything?
Well, I guess you have a good point. I couldn't read their minds. So I guess you have a good point. Unless I can read their mind, I couldn't tell. So you're absolutely right on that.
Summer, I want to ask you something. If you say you're a white girl, right? Now, if a lot of white people start getting killed and you kept seeing it in the news and stuff like that, just getting, well, unalived,
I'm about to say, Auntie, you can't talk like that.
I'm sorry, unalived, and you seeing it on the news, and there's no real reason why they keep getting unalived, just
No, I'm telling people in the
unalived,
comments. No, you good. People in the comments, F1, please.
Unalived, and you keep seeing this in from police officers and different people. Would you get kind of nervous or something if you seen police officers stopping you? Would you get a little nervous or uneasy when they start coming up to you to pull you over? Would you just feel, the police officer's gonna pull me over or something like that? How would you feel then? I mean, really?
Well, to be honest with you, 10 years ago, I probably wouldn't have felt anything. But today, absolutely, even as a YT person, I would not want to even call the cops if I had an issue at my home. I would, from what I've seen on TV, I don't even trust the police, period. I wouldn't even
Yes, you
call
do.
them. No, I don't.
Yes, you do.
What they've done to Sonia was completely unjustified, completely, and I hope they tried
They
him
wouldn't do the
and put
same
him
to you
under
though.
the jail.
That's the point. They wouldn't do the same to you. But see, that's what y'all don't understand, and that's why we don't want to. And that's exactly why that's the problem. Because this y'all don't understand that racism was never a black problem. We didn't start it. Y'all did. Y'all came up with the concept of race. That's y'all.
Exactly.
Y'all did that. Y'all are low down. Y'all are
But we
locking
don't
brothers and
agree
sisters
with
up.
what that
Y'all are
all.
unaliving innocent black men and women. Y'all are going over to the continent and extorting Africa. Y'all are the reason why the Congo is, why babies in the Congo are unalived. Y'all are the reason why Haiti is in the condition that it's in. Y'all are the reason why black men and women and children, babies everywhere face hell. Y'all are.
We've
So
done a
for you
lot
to
of
come up here
despicable
and try
stuff
to
to
deny
civil
that,
rights.
it shows how racist and wicked how you is. And it goes into what
Look
I
what
always say, brothers and sisters, you
look
can't
what
get
we did
along
to
with
the
them.
Indians.
They try to deceive you. They try to make it seem like it's our fault when they the ones doing it. You seen how many white T folks stormed the Capitol? It would have been black people. It would have been Bloody Sunday. Y'all know it would have been Bloody Sunday. Look how they did Nat Turner, Fred Hampton, Malcolm X, Patrice Lumumba, Thomas Sankara, uh, Thomas Sankara. Look at this stuff they did. They got a constant recycle
But
of doing everything.
I
And
totally
that's how
agree with you.
wicked they
Look what we did
is.
to
And
the
that's why they
American
love
Indians
trying to come
before we
deceive
came
people.
here.
Look how wicked they is. Look how she's trying to lie. Look how she always trying to center herself. Because she knows she benefit from what her no good clan sisters did. Your clan sisters sold my great grandmothers like that. And my people still suffer from it. Your people work on a daily and consistent basis to keep my people down. It's not our problem. We just want to be left the hell alone. But y'all can't understand that because it's against y'all very nature to understand that. Y'all been doing it to each other. And when y'all came out of the caves and off of the continent of dirty Europe, y'all did it to the rest of the world. Y'all did it to the indigenous, the original owners of this land. You did it to black people. Y'all do it to the Palestinians. Y'all do it the Asians. Y'all did it. That's exactly what y'all did. Y'all went all over the world and destroyed everything. And y'all got the nerve to look around and ask everybody what the problem is. The problem is that if everybody could get the hell away from you, we'll be all right. Because you are no good. Recessive by nature, a devil, a wicked and grafted person. Like we've always been preaching. Y'all like that's
So
y'all
what if I
freaking nature.
so what if I
Even
told
then,
you
now that I look back on the things that y'all indoctrinated all of our brothers and sisters with Christianity, with Lucifer and all that, I look at the very nature of y'all, and y'all fit the description. Y'all are Lucifer, Beelzebub, Hades, all of that. That's y'all. That's y'all. Y'all are wicked. Y'all. Y'all are demons. Y'all are wicked beasts. Y'all do that. Y'all. Nobody else did that shit, but y'all. Y'all
you're
started it.
generalizing. You're
Y'all are conquerors.
generalizing.
Y'all are colonizers, bro. That's what y'all do. And you got the nerve to say us saying the little words is gonna affect your position. But your people do it wicked daily, all over the world. And people
Are you gonna
all
let
over the
me
world are telling
respond,
it.
or
They've been telling us for years.
are
But
you gonna
y'all want
let
to
me
call us low
respond?
down, right? You could say the little comments all you want. That's your nature. That's the wicked. That's your ancestors' wicked blood telling you to gotta get the slave back under control. But this the radicals. This the radical slaves in here today. This the radical slaves in today. You got the right ones today. Yeah, you talking about trying to come up here talking about Black Americans. Let's talk about white tea folks in general. Number one graper. Number one colonizer. Number one everything that's wicked in the human consensus. Who started it, brothers and sisters? Who started it? Who started it? Let's be real. Who taught you
They
to hate
did.
yourself? Who taught you to hate your health? Who taught you to hate your skin? Who taught you to hate your culture, your ancestors? Who taught you that Africa was nothing? Who taught you that that when they fought you, you had to be civilized? That was this beast. That was this devil. That was
Go
them.
ahead, Colin.
They did that. You need like, bro. You can't change. And even if you gave us John Brown action, you know what I'm saying? We can't say we still don't want you around. No good beast.
Well,
All
it sounds
right.
like
I'll say
was
ho.
And and I got this to say: if YT folks ain't the devil, they'll do it till the real one get here. They'll do it till the real one get here.
Oh, in
Shaka
the
is hilarious.
spirit of Khalid Muhammad, this
Absolutely.
young brother
Absolutely.
Shaka is on the scene.
I'll
Yes,
shade to
sir.
the ancestor, Dr. Khalid Abdul Muhammad, and his teachings. Shaka's doing the ancestors' work.
Can I
All
respond
right.
to what he's saying?
Yeah,
How
sure, if
you
you'd
gonna
like.
respond to that?
Nelly, she want to go ahead.
Shaka.
Go ahead.
Let her.
She gonna put him in his place. Go ahead.
Well,
So
go ahead.
the thing is you're still generalizing. You're saying that we all did that, and that's not what happened.
Okay, I'm gonna ask you this. Are you saying black people could be devils too? Just yes or
I mean,
no.
it's the
Just
same
yes or
thing as
no.
me telling
No, no,
you.
no, no. Just yes or no. I don't want an explanation. Just yes or no. Are you saying black people could be devils too?
Yes.
Name some.
Well, if I told
Name
you that
some.
you're
You
going
can't
to
do it. And if
kill
you say
tomorrow,
idiot, me and you's a
you're
goddamn
Walmart, and
liar.
you're going to
And if you
She
kill
say
don't know
Shaka
who
Zulu,
Edie Amin is. She don't got the. Come on now. She.
if you say Shaka
Yeah.
Zulu, you's a goddamn liar. If you say anybody in the Black Panther Party, if you say Malcolm X,
She don't know
if you
these.
She
say
don't know
Elijah
them.
Muhammad,
brother.
Louis Farrakhan, you's a
She don't know
goddamn liar.
them.
She
Cause
don't
we
even
can
know
go
the black
throughout
man that
history.
lives down the
I'm gonna
street
turn my
from her,
camera on because I
let
want y'all to see
alone.
the hand motion. We could go throughout goddamn history and look through every state. We got King Leopold, Schmittler, Alexander the Great, Vladimir Dracula, the real Dracula, Genghis Khan. Let's go down the line. What you want to talk about? Napoleon. These are wicked wicked devils. We can talk about them. We can talk about them. These Sarakas don't mean you no good. And this devil want to come up here and try to quiet us down, try to tell us, come on, guys, we aren't
You
whipping you
don't have
anymore. Come on,
you.
guys, we're integrated. Come on. And then take color off of the card. This wicked, no good, recessive, hook nose, bagel E, locks having, animal kissing devil right here got the nerve to come up on a black platform and try to get us to quiet down. Brothers and sisters, this devil can't put us to sleep. You should bid the devil on thy way. Get thee behind me, Satan. Get thee behind me, Satan.
I know he didn't
Hell,
say
you talking
hook
about
nose.
hook nose, bastard. Look at this hook nose bastard want to come up here and try to tell me us black people how we should feel, how we should hurt. No good, bastard. Hell you mean? You just like the white tee man. Matter of fact, the white tee woman might be even more deceitful than the white tee man. Even if you're not religious, she is the Jezebel. She is the succubus. They are a pit of vipers. They are the serpent. They are a liar. The serpent that lied to Adam and Eve ain't real. That's the white tee man. They lied to you. They deceived you. That's what the serpent represents. That's the white tee man. The real serpent. A liar. All they do is lie. They'll tell you a bold lie. And then believe the lie and still know they lying. They don't know what they want to do. Just mentally devilish. You can't name not one good white tee man that's changed my condition. Don't say Thomas Jefferson. Wicked. Don't tell me about George, boy. I never told a lie, which was a lie in itself. Don't tell me about Abraham Lincoln, guy. Come on, he freed the slaves. When Abraham Lincoln himself said, if I could keep the Union together without freeing the slaves, I'd do it. And he said, I, like any white tee man, would love to see white tee people in a supreme position. Abraham Lincoln said that. A United States president. And they get mad when we laugh at you get mad when we laugh at the red, white, and blue. The red, white, and blue don't mean a goddamn thing to me. The hell with the red, white, and blue, and that's exactly where it's going. That's exactly where it's going. That's exactly where the red, white, and blue. That's exactly where all of Europe is going. The hell with it. Y'all, some of us brothers still want to come out here with these Peckerwoods and talk about they are American. They gonna get behind a glorified shower curtain, vote for Donald Trump. I'm gonna vote for Joe Biden. I'm gonna vote for Reagan. The hell with Reagan. That's the real antichrist. All these Peckerwoods been an antichrist to me because ain't nothing good about them. They can't even live by their own indoctrination. And they want to take the 146 laws of God. Can't even live by the 10 of the commandments. Say, shit, let me leave the rest of these up here. And then let me read the rest of these up here because you can't even follow the basic 10. Hell, you want to talk about? We can touch on any part of history. And I'm going to eat you alive. I'm going to make and I got George screaming from the grave right now. I got George screaming from the grave. He's screaming, get that nigga in check. That's what George screaming. George screaming, get that nigga in check. I got Giuliani mad as hell. Then I got J. Edgar Hoover said, get this nigga off TikTok. And they want to talk about.
Yeah.
Goddamn.
All right, Shaka. Good boys. We gotta let her respond. She said she wanted to respond. I mean, you don't have to, Summer Rain. If you want to just politely step down when I'm at, you can.
Yeah, I'll probably step down. You know, he's a very angry man at people that before I was ever even born, shit that other people did for many years.
She said she was gonna step down. Just step down. Let's go to the next guest. We're gonna keep it pushing. Big up to Shaka, man. Whew, the live needed that. My goodness. We done dealt with some mayonnaise today. All right, we're going to the next guest. I just want to remind brothers and sisters to keep tapping like as you listen along. Tap like periodically. You know, we're trying to get to 75K so that the algorithm will show us to other. We do need to. Stella, if you can find that person and do what P. Jones is saying in the comments. But yeah, so next guest, Raynan. Give us your age, race, and pronouns, please.
I'm 23. My name is Raina. I'm Black and she, her.
All right, talk to us.
So basically, I want to touch on the prompt real quick. I think that like white people do benefit off of Black culture all the time because I don't ever see any like Black person making as much money off of like a white person does off of our culture because I believe that white people don't want to see us thrive while building our own culture.
If you make money off of someone else's culture, is it sharing?
No, it's stolen.
Okay. All right.
It's completely stolen. And then the main reason why I want to come on here is that I identify as like Black. I did not know I was mixed until 10th grade. And what she said about people coming on here saying like we say that we like you guys saying that mixed people have to pick a side. I feel like that's just the mixed kids who identify as both races that were raised by a white mom, and the white mom was telling them that you are both Black and white, but they don't teach their mixed kids that the government and society see them as Black. We are Black. We have to mark it down on papers. That's what's on our driver's license. We are Black. There's no cop around here that looks at a mixed kid and said, oh, they're half white. They said, that's a Black person.
Absolutely. Absolutely. Big up to all my mixed race, Africans, biracial, Black brothers and sisters. That was well said.
That's like, that really irritates me every single time I hear white, because my biological dad always said that. He said, you're also white. You should act white. You should be more white. You shouldn't like be emerged into your mom's culture. But I'm just like, that's what I've been around. He didn't come into my life till I was 20, and he wanted to come and say all this stuff and like basically say he's not racist with saying racial things. Like if he was referring to my mom's side of the family, he says those people or these people or those people's thoughts. And I got very offended with him, and I like blocked him, cut him off over a year ago, and he wonders why. And my mom told him and his girlfriends because you guys were racist. And he says, I'm not racist.
Wait, so I'm sorry. The father is Black, correct?
My father's white.
Oh, the father's white. Oh, wow.
Yeah. My mom is Black.
I see.
And yeah, so
Okay.
yeah, that just irritates me when people say that.
Yeah, I can imagine, especially with your background. So I can imagine, and it sounds like you did the work necessary internally to be speaking the way you're speaking. Someone said in the comments, that you doing that work is commendable, and it sounds like you landed in the right direction. I just wanted to speak to what some of the reason we see that, according to the scholars, is white women have been consistent in their role in upholding white supremacy in different ways, and they've been consistent with how they're doing it. For example, when she gets with a Black man, or she's in front of Black people in general, like the last person that was up here, the white woman tries to make it seem as if she's one of the good ones. Oh yes, there's racists out there, but I'm not racist. And so people like me exist. I'm one of the good ones. She'll tell the Black man, I love you. And because I love you, there's a good side to us. And there's other white people that love you too. And so, we're not all bad. And so the objective for the white woman is to indoctrinate Black people into not having an allegiance towards their own social group. And that way we won't want to rebel against racism, white supremacy. Instead we'll seek to assimilate into it because, oh, wow, white women like me. So, I'm not going to tear down white, supremacy. I mean, the power structure that her community is built on, because I love one of them. So I can't, I can't fight for Black people because I have a white wife and white children. What she does then to Black women is to tell Black women, we have a sisterhood in common. We're all women. We're feminists. Yeah, we work with you guys, and we have that. And then they'll point to the Black man and make him seem like he's just as guilty as the white man, and turn it so that the Black woman no longer has a reason to have an allegiance solely towards her Blackness, but now she tells you that your femininity, your womanhood is something that you both share, even though her community has denied you access to womanhood, even though her community has treated you as female, not as a woman. They treat you as a female, and this is documented. And then what she does to the child is the wickedest part, because her job is to turn our allegiance away from working with our own people. So she tells the child, I'll say it like this: when a black woman has a child with a white man, she tells the child you're black because she understands what's going on. You know, she has a proper orientation. She knows what time it is, who she is, and what's orientation? Place. What is it? Place, time, and something else. But anyway, she knows what time it is. The black woman knows what time it is. She tells the child, you are black. When a white woman has a child with a black man, she tells the child, you're biracial. And so that is her way of saying she's able to produce a child that's melanated, and she has to remind the child, because the child is not in her social group, she has to remind the child, you're not like me, but you're not like them either. You're because you have some of me in you. You're not like them. So you're somewhere in the middle. You're black and you're white. You're in between. Even though the world will treat them as black. But now, because the child has been separated from their mother socially, they're going to resent their black identity because it's something that creates tension and distance of proximity to their mother. You understand? So they begin to resent their blackness because when they walk out into the world, they're seen as black. And now they only learn the black experience through struggle and pain. So now you'll have biracial people come up and say, I'm not treated the same as black people. I'm treated differently. So I can't claim to be black. I have to be half white, half black. I'm biracial because, you know, I don't have the same experience as you guys, because they think the experience, they think who we are. They don't care about the land, history, and culture we have in common with black people and Africans across the world, because they don't know the positive side of our identity. They only think that we're black because we struggle, because they only know their blackness through struggle and a distance of proximity from their mother's social group, or rejection from their mother's social group. So that's why you'll see them clawing to get into whiteness, but never being fully accepted. And thus, they don't have an allegiance towards black people because they're not going to fight for black people. Their mother's white. And so, you know, that's what white women have done. And yeah, that's just 3 examples. All right, I'm done. The work that I just described to y'all is because of Dr. Frances Cress Welsing. If y'all want to check her out, her book is The ISIS Papers. I encourage all black people to read The ISIS Papers, Keys to the Colors. It's a book also in alignment with Dr. Neely Fuller Jr.'s work, basically explaining to you how racism could be psychoanalyzed. And yeah, we'll go to the next guest though. I got a book you mentioned before. I'm glad we have we're starting a book club, so if anybody wants to read along with us, you can. I'm gonna go to the next guest. Kizzy, give us your age, race, and pronouns.
Hey there, I'm 40. I'm black. She, her.
All right.
Can black people and white people benefit from sharing culture? No, mainly because black people have culture and white people don't. Are marriages between black people and white people ethical? Here's the thing, okay? I'm the fence on this one, and this is why. Unfortunately, when black men get with YT women have no power. Their power is based on the proximity that they have to a YT man. So unfortunately, when a black man gets with a YT woman, it is literally for no other reason than to, I guess, piss off a bunch of YT men, I guess. I don't know. Here's the thing though. When a black woman gets with a YT man, she can actually, excuse the expression, exploit his privilege
So you're saying in a relationship with a white man, a black woman has power?
No,
Okay.
no,
All right. So she still can only do what he allows, correct?
correct. Like
Okay.
she has the same proximity to power that a white woman would have if she was with him, is what I'm saying.
No, nah. Because when he's
With
not around, the white woman still has power.
Well, that's the thing is that
Even
the
when
only
even when the
power that
white
they
woman
have is in their
is
tears.
even when the white woman is in proximity of the black man, if they could be married together for 20 years, if she just starts screaming at the top of her lungs in the middle of a restaurant, rape, 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 I'm sorry, grape, grape, grape. He's a thief. Come get him. Trust
I
and
agree.
believe. Yeah, and they're not going to come as quickly if it was a black woman screaming that.
I don't disagree with you. Like I 100% agree
So
with
she
you.
still holds the power. Is
You
is the
know,
point? Her
yeah.
proximity is maybe lessened the same way a
See,
gay white man doesn't have the same privileges as a straight white man, but other
I
than
guess
that, they still come together like Voltron.
I guess when I think of it, like when I think of being in a relationship with a black man, I think about loving him and wanting to build him up and us growing together and building together, right? When I think of the idea of the possibility of dating a YT man, it is literally with the ideology of how can I exploit his privilege? Because how long have they exploited our labor, right?
But
So,
is that not what the black man thinks?
but that's the thing is that white women don't have the same. They don't have the
They
same
do though.
privilege
But
that
see,
white
and see,
people
that's the
have.
misconception here. Okay, so now we're getting to the root of it. The feminist idea that white women are this oppressed, downtrodden, subgroup within the white community is false because the white women, and if you look it up, there's actually a history behind this, where white women were actually co-creators in patriarchy. Y'all, I encourage you to
And
look up a book.
I believe that.
Yeah,
I believe that.
yeah,
But the
look up a
question
book.
is that is it the white women that own the businesses, or is it their
It's the
husband?
white women that don't need to own the businesses
Because their
because
husbands do.
yeah, because they don't have to. Because what their
Right.
husbands do make them the laziest majority in the country. They're a majority, not a
Right.
minority. So
But
they're the
what happens
laziest
when the
because the,
husband
the
leaves
system
the
of
white woman?
patriarchy was built to solely benefit the white woman. The white woman is the only people in this country who has never had to work. So they fought for the right to work. Black women have never had to fight for the right to work. You know what I mean?
But we agree. I agree. We agree on that. We agree on that. But the thing about that is the reality of that is that white women, the privilege that they have is not based on them having some sort of privilege. A white woman can scream all day on the elevator that someone whistled at her or touched her that a black man did. But guess what? If there is no YT man around to actually implement the privilege of that scream, nothing happens is the point.
I
Nothing
mean, that don't
will
mean
happen.
I know, but we're not all in a vacuum. I mean, I hear you, but I mean, if that's the case, yeah, if you're alone in a room with anybody, then racism doesn't exist, or at least it has no power. In a room alone. I mean, shoot, are you even in a room alone if no one knows you're in there? Like, now we're getting into philosophical questions.
Well,
But
okay, let's not let's
yeah.
talk about logical, realistical, actual things that have happened. Okay. The lady that lied on Emmett Till, okay? So let's say she told the lie. And she went and she told that lie to 200 other white women. What would have happened to Emmett Till?
The same thing.
The
You
exact
really
same
think
thing.
that?
Yeah, and that's why I was
You
trying to
think
give a
those white women
sister,
would have
sister.
conjoined together
Yes,
and got
absolutely,
in
Yes,
okay.
they
absolutely,
would have, sister,
absolutely.
because they
And
actually
and
Have
we,
you ever
participated.
never heard of the house Negro?
yeah, listen, there's books on this. I don't, I
What
don't,
I've
I don't,
never
I
heard
don't want to
of is
debate.
I've
Kizzy,
never
Kizzy,
heard of
Kizzy, Kizzy,
white
Kizzy,
women
Kizzy, Kizzy,
fighting for
Kizzy, Kizzy. It's my
themselves
live.
or for
It's my
anyone
live.
else.
Please, Kizzy, Kizzy. I'm not here to argue. You can read books and know where we're coming from, and then I will invite you back to this platform so that you can understand. Because a lot of what we think about white women was taught to us by white women, and we believe we listen to women first even when it comes to our oppressor. I believe we need to listen to black women first when it comes to our people, but I don't believe we should be listening to what white women have told us about white
No.
womanhood. And so
And
let me
sister.
get these books, smart sister. Hold on.
Oh,
Let me give the books.
oh,
All right. So the
please.
first book, They Were Her Property. Go ahead. The book is right there. They Were Her Property. This is a book about white women's role in the institution of slavery and their role in perpetuating racism. So we can start there. And then the second book is not specifically about white women, but it's Man Not. MAN hyphen NOT. Brother Timothy, if you could find the cover for us. It's Man Not by Tommy J. Curry. And this book is specifically about the struggles of black men, but it also has chapters fixated and focused on white women's role in creating patriarchy. So this is the book here. It's right here on the screen. If y'all want to, I have the Man Not. I can pull up any page you need. Oh, okay. No, I'm not gonna read through the book right now, but I appreciate that you have the book. But yeah, so Man Not, Tommy J. Curry, even in his lectures, talks about how the idea that white women have been this innocent bystander, which is language used in the first book, that they've been this innocent bystander, and white men have been the real problem this whole time, and they've just been subjugated to white women. Black women understand this subjugation to white men, and so they look at the white woman and say, "Oh yeah, you've been going through what I've been going through. Yeah, your man is like that." But in reality, white women helped create patriarchy because European men were unaliving each other at such high rates that they said that if y'all can just come together on the basis of your manhood, then we would have peace. And this is written. This is not this is not this is not how someone feels. This is not how someone perceives things. They have been active oppressors. And the patriarchy that was created so that they would not have to work. You have never seen white women fight for equal rights to work during slavery. When black women was cooking their food, when black women was washing their menstrual rags and taking care of their children, white women did not want equality with white men. They didn't start that until there was no one else to do the work for them, and then all of a sudden they wanted to have the right to work and get paid an equal wage as the white man.
And they've always wanted the power to put their foot on our neck too.
Breakdown in communication is that
what?
I'm not saying that white women or YT women are free of anything. They are just as grotesque, and they have had a hand in everything negative that have happened throughout history. Absolutely. I'm not saying that. That's why
What are you saying?
There were literally laws put in place to protect them because of unaliving the children that their husbands were having with the slave women. Oh, I know.
So
I understand.
what are you saying?
What I'm saying is they have no power. If it
They
wasn't
have
for
power.
They
on,
Are
you're
you
not hearing
kidding? You
me. You're
cannot
not
know
hearing
all
me.
of that and not know that they don't have power. And they have never come to our aid,
The
ever.
power is in their tears. Don't you get it?
No, the power
The
not in their
power
That's
is
not
in
tears.
their
the
tears.
power
The
we talking
power is
about.
in their ability to garner some sort of emotional response from white men. It's not that
Their
they're
power is in
oppressed.
their ability to
It's not that they
manipulate
are
white men.
oppressed. It's not that they haven't done anything wrong. But the reality of it is that when black women weren't allowed to have bank accounts, neither were white women. And they had to
Sister,
They
can you put
didn't
that in the
manipulate.
need
They
bank
context
would
of black
learn
accounts
women
how
They
having
because
to
didn't.
white
manipulate.
Thank you,
they didn't need bank accounts.
sis.
That's
Right,
what you're not
because their
understanding.
husbands had them. Their husbands had them.
They
You do
give
know it was
birth to
white tea
these
women.
Hold on,
peckerwoods.
let
Hold
Auntie
on one
talk to her
second.
because the men ear is going in one ear out the other. Go ahead, Auntie.
No, it's not. I got 8 brothers and was raised by my father. Let's not do that. Let's
Well,
not
I
be
don't know where you
disrespectful.
coming
Let's
from,
not do
where
that.
you talking about an emotional response. Those heifers give
Mm.
birth to the devil. They raise peckerwoods. They all up in it. So you cannot just try to
Agreed.
conflate what they had and didn't have against what we had and didn't have is
Never
ludicrous, sis. You got to go back and look. If you know all those things you say
white
you
women
do,
to black women. Never did. I'm not sure
Please
what
don't
y'all are hearing.
please don't interrupt her. Let
I'm
her.
sorry. I'm not sure what y'all are hearing, but I'm trying to confirm
I'm not
what you heard me
understanding what
say.
you're
No
saying
one is understanding what you're saying. If you want to
because you
clarify,
can't
then
know those things and come out your mouth with what you just said. It makes no sense.
Okay, so
None.
we agreed that white women didn't need bank accounts because the men that they were married to or connected with had them. We agreed with
White
that,
women
right?
got as
But
much power, if not
they
more,
somehow
than
had
white men.
power. They couldn't
What?
use these bank accounts without the agreement.
that wasn't me. I don't know
It
what's
was
going on. Go
white tea
ahead.
women who
All
was
right.
millionaires.
I'm gonna just say real quick on my
Oh,
live, we let the elders speak. That's why we let
so
Nelly finish her talk. Smart Sister is one of the elders, so that's why I'm sitting here quiet. Like
I'm
we don't want too
sorry.
much talking over each other. Go ahead, Sister Yvette, Sister Smart Sister. Go ahead.
Um, sis, you cannot know all those things to be true and then come back and talk about what rights they had and didn't have. They got the right to vote because they was like, y'all want these ninjas to vote before us? Are you kidding? That's how they got the votes. Okay? You can't talk about it. The power of when the hand that rocks the cradle rules the world. Now, we know that. And if they are the ones that are giving birth to, raising, and everything else, these white men, they got power. They got the same power. And they've always fought for the power to keep their foot on our neck like the white man. So I don't know, what feminist thing you coming with, or I'm trying to understand. You're saying we don't understand you. I'm trying to make logical sense out of what you're saying, personally. So go ahead. I'm sorry. Go ahead.
So we've never seen white women or YT women fight for anything themselves physically. Like they've literally never, even when it came to fighting for the right to work, they used black men as their counterparts, literally.
When have
So
they fought to right to work? When did that come from?
that didn't happen. The suffragette movement didn't happen. Wasn't y'all
Suffrage
just
was
up here
about
telling me
voting
that I needed
rights.
to read books?
Suffragette is about voting rights.
Right. So they wasn't fighting for rights of women during that time?
Not us.
Of course
Not
not
for
us.
black women.
Of
But
course
but
No.
but
not
but that
us.
movement,
Of course not us.
the suffragette movement is documented that the reason for the suffragette movement, and if you read the book that I just Man Not, I'm gonna put it on the screen again. He talks about the suffragette movement and he brings up actual documents and excerpts from documents where white women said that they were basically putting fear into white men's hearts about one day where black people would be able to decide based on abortion rights. Basically, black men and the coloreds would be deciding what white women have a right to do with their bodies, because non-white people were more likely to vote in favor of abortion. And so they were saying that, can you imagine a world where the colored people have a right to vote and white women don't? And
Right.
they're going to make rules about our bodies. And so that is the reason the suffragette movement was successful, because at the end of the day, they wanted to make sure that their place in the hierarchy remained on top.
Right.
So
Right. Above black men and
yes or
certainly
no?
above black women.
Yes or no? Were there black men involved with them in that movement? Did they partner with black men, even if it was one or two?
Even if
They
there's one or
tried
two, is
to.
not
That
black
book not
men.
talk about
Even
that.
if there was one
That
or
book not
two,
talk
is
about
not
that.
black men. Even if
It's
there
not
was
as a
one or
whole.
two, is not a generalization of
Okay.
black men. There might have been black people, and I don't know what black people you're talking about. If I got my laptop in front of me, if you could give me some names, I don't know these black people. But even if there were black people, because we've been at the forefront of every movement, but if
Thank
that's
you.
the case, then that does not mean black people or black men as a whole were the reason that they got permission from white men to be able to vote. That is up to white
No.
men.
Oh wait. So white women, the same white women that y'all are arguing with me have power, had to literally get permission from white men in order to be able to vote? Make it make sense for me.
All right,
How
so
you telling me
all
that
right,
those white women
she
had
looking
the
at this from
same
a black
power as
perspective.
men that they had
They
to get
did not
permission
have
from?
to vote
Sorry, it's
because
not
the
making
white
sense.
men would protect their rights. They didn't
Thank you.
have to
Obviously
vote.
not. They
They
was
didn't
fighting for
have
the
to
rights.
work. They didn't have to have bank accounts, because whiteness and patriarchy worked to their benefit. They didn't have to start fighting for these rights until black women were no longer doing their job for them. And then they had
Thank
to learn to
you.
be housewives. And then they sucked at that shit. Let's be honest. The reason you see TikToks today where white women can't cook is because your grandmothers was doing it for them. That's why they don't know how to cook
Thank you.
today. That's why they don't wash their chicken today.
Black
They don't
women
know how to
was
wash
working
their
in
ass
white homes
because
all the way
they don't
into
know
the
how to wash their
70s.
ass. I'm not going to be talked over on my own live. They don't know how to wash their ass because our grandmothers used to wash their ass
Did
for
it.
them. You understand? So when we talking about what white women had the right to do, we're looking at that from a black perspective and saying we never had that inclusion in society. Black people being able to vote was us being able to have access and a say in what goes on in our immediate environment. At least that's what we thought. It didn't really
Thank you.
pan
It
out
didn't
that way.
work
We've been
out.
voting for a long time. It didn't work out that
And
way.
what suffragists from the Grimkey sisters and all these, famous white female suffragists, did they bring us along with them? Fuck no. So I don't understand what you're caping for or what you're trying to do, because they didn't give a damn about black women.
See, that's
Never
what the book
had,
means,
even
that
though
you
we
think that
spoke
you think
for
I'm
them.
caping.
See, the problem, Kizzy, is that there have been
Think I'm caping.
multitudes of active documented cases in which YT women have 100% stood side by side with other YT men to implement extreme forms of violence and perpetuation of racism, YT supremacy. So
And
the entirety of what it is that you are claiming is not factually true. It's just not. It's just not. No matter how much we want it to feel like it's true, we want it to be true, it's not. At the end of the day, YT women have just as much access to diving into racism, YT supremacy as YT men do. Now, of course, there's a different dynamic balance because obviously at the end of the day, YT men, YT women, they perceive masculinity and femininity as different. They have that type of issue going on within themselves. However, again, both of them actively maintain and perpetuate racism, YT supremacy. No amount of trying to throw black men into that is going to change the facts that black men do not benefit from mixing around with them. Black women do not benefit from mixing around with YT men. As a collective, the entirety of racism, YT supremacy serves only two purposes. That is to maintain itself and to keep white people at the top. The extreme forms of violence as well as extreme forms of deceit. And right now, unfortunately, there's an extreme amount of deceit that a lot of our African families, sister, are falling for. We have to engage in the facts over the foolery.
And like I said, when your grandmother's hands was in a tub of bloody water washing their damn menstrual rag, tell me how they didn't have power.
I just
Fuck
want to
outta
say,
here.
are we forgetting that white tea women were slave captors too, and slave masters too?
No,
You
no, I'm
gonna,
not.
hey, can you put me in this lady I got right here? She was a famous slave trader, and she ain't the only one I could pull up. They was famous slave. One of the most famous slave trader was a white tea woman.
And I believe
So,
you.
all right, so you know what I'm saying? It should be you can't blame. It's like what? I don't see the.
But see, that's why I'm saying that you're misunderstanding what I'm saying. See,
I'm not
you're
misunderstanding nothing. The white tea woman, you keep on saying she got no
Y'all are
power
hearing
throughout
what you're
history. Throughout
hearing
history,
is that YT women somehow are absolved from wrongness. No,
No, we're saying they have power.
Again, the reality of it is that yes, they are absolutely just as grotesque. They are just as violent. Absolutely. But the reality of it is that just like brother just got through explaining, they had to ask white tea men for the right to quote unquote vote, right? That means that
But that's because you're looking at
power issue.
that mean
that's not
wait
a
minute,
power
wait
issue. That's a legal issue, and you don't understand the difference.
Hold on. Is the legal system not a system?
No, not in the context of racism, white supremacy, If the law mattered, then when they signed in the pen, all men are created equal. We all would have been free. We all would have been equal.
Thank you.
Okay.
We literally created a law in order to absolve white women from
They created a law saying
black babies.
They did the same thing for YT men. They literally created a law that stipulated, hold on, sister, they created a law in the 1600s that stipulated that no person or a person that is, they stipulated more so that a person who is identified as a Christian, and during the early 17, I think it was more so 1600s, they knew that only YT people could be classified as Christians. They stated that any YT person that is struck by an enslaved person has the right to unalive them. That was a law across the board for YT men and YT women. They created laws for both of them. Like, what are we talking about right now?
So what are you talking about? I still don't get what you're talking about. Me personally, the law and power is two damn different things. So what are you saying?
So okay. So do YT people have control over the law in 2024? Yes or no?
Yes.
Absolutely.
Yes.
So do YT people have control over the power of the law of the land that you live in as a black woman in 2024? Yes or no?
Absolutely.
So if I have to go to the law and ask them for permission for, I don't know, let's just say my vehicle registration.
It's YT women in the law. They in the law. YT women are in the law. So what are you saying?
If I have to go to them and ask them for permission to register my vehicle, that means that they have the power to tell me yes or no. Meaning they have power beyond what I have.
There was a judge.
Yes
there was a
or
judge
no.
that literally gave a very lenient sentence to the Asian woman that unalived.
question.
Hold on.
I'm asking a direct question.
There was a YT lady judge that gave basically a relieved sentence for the Asian lady that unalived the sister that was just picking up some orange juice. And please, African family, forgive me for not remembering her name 100%. But please, if you could just tell me the name in the comments.
That happened here in LA, in Koreatown. What is the sister? Not Takia. I forget her name.
I know she was a
who
young
you're talking
sister.
about.
She was just a baby.
She was 17.
She was just a baby. She was just a
Exactly.
baby.
So what are you
Latasha
saying? When
Harlins.
finish making
Latasha
your
Okay.
Harlins.
point.
Say her
Let
name.
me
Latasha
let me
Harlins.
let
Latasha
me see
Harlins.
if I can help you a little bit. I just want to
You
try.
you
I
ain't
mean,
gonna help nothing. Just to go
I'd
and make
love to
your
because
I
point.
said help her.
I asked a very
Okay.
Oh,
distinct
that's you talking.
question,
I
and
thought
then he
that was
started
her.
talking about something else.
This Miss Nelly, I just want to
Go,
I want
yeah,
to
girl,
say,
you cool.
she said women didn't have any power.
Mm-hmm.
Even when women seem like they have no power, they always have power. Even
Thank
if the
you.
law is, if it's a man involved, women have power. Understand this. Men may make the law, but women always have power when it comes to a man. So there's ways around anything. And when the women were dealing with the men, even though the men were making the laws, a woman knows how to get what she wants out of a man. And whatever they wanted, they could get. If they
Mm-hmm.
wanted, just like if they wanted the right to vote, they knew how to go to their husbands. So those
It's
women back
definitely
in
picking
those
up what I was putting
days,
down.
so yes, even back in those days, those women would have their little tea parties and get together and say, "Okay, we want to do this, ladies. You know, we can't go to the men and tell them like that. So what we're gonna do? They have their little meetings." And they would get together with their little social clubs and say what they wanted to have or what they wanted to do. And then they would go to their husbands one by one and, tell them what they wanted. And they would go that way to their husbands. And you know that pillow talk at night. You know how to get, every woman knows how to get what they want from their husbands. And
Mm-hmm.
that's how they did it. And that's how they got what they wanted from their husbands. And they would bring it to them as supposedly the weaker sex, and they would get it like that, and their husbands would make it happen for them. That's how they got the right to vote. That's how they got the right to do everything that they wanted to do. They just
Mm-hmm.
had to make the man think that he was in charge, and they got everything they wanted, and that's how they
Exactly.
do it.
Throughout the
Come on,
U.S.,
people. You make
absolutely.
it a mountain out of a molehill. That's how women did everything. Come on.
The Heritage
Yep.
Foundation that we're dealing with
You
right
picked
now
up
with that
exactly
whole
what I was
Project
putting down. Thank you
2025,
for that.
the Heritage Foundation that we are dealing with right now with Project 2025 wasn't
Mhm.
that founded by YT women?
That's a
Like it
good
was
I don't
question.
know. I
wasn't
just
that
know it's
founded
a
by YT women?
conservative think tank. I'm not sure.
No, because there's a foundation where basically they were trying to rewrite the history of the Confederacy, and they were trying to make it not about slavery, and it was founded by YT women, and
Oh,
a
No,
lot
Daughters
No,
of
of
the
the curriculum.
Confederacy.
it's not the Heritage Foundation. I
It's
wanted to
not
say
okay.
something else
Okay.
though. I'm looking at Tommy G. Curry's lecture right now, and he's got a picture here. I can't show it to y'all, but it's white men wearing pointy hoods. You know what I'm saying? And
Mm-hmm.
they're actually marching in celebration of women's rights. He says throughout the U.S., women's rights were celebrated and enforced as part of Klan heritage. He also has, some earlier documents from 1898 where someone named Rebecca Latimer wrote, and basically she's implying that the reason white women should have the right to vote now, like I said, is because it'll protect white women. They always knew how to appeal to the white patriarchy to get what they want. And she says, when you take the Negro into your embraces on an election day to control his vote and use liquor to befuddle his understanding and make him believe he is a man and your brother, lynchings prevail. Because the cause will grow and increase with every election when there is not enough religion in the pulpit to organize a crusade against this sin. She goes on to say, if it requires lynching to protect women's dearest possession from ravening, drunken, human beasts, then I say lynch 1,000 Negroes a week if necessary. And this is one of the early white suffragettes, Rebecca
Suffragists.
Latimer.
Mm-hmm.
When we talk
Mm-hmm.
about this, white women have always been on code with white supremacy, and
Mm-hmm.
there was a time where some of the men that were more patriarchal had qualms about letting them vote because previously they didn't have to. All they had to do was stay home and make children, and most of them were fine with that. There was no suffragette movement until, and the reason I'm looking at documents that date back to 1898 and 1887 was because in 1865 our people was off the plantation and wasn't working for
Mm-hmm.
them the way that it was easily accessible earlier.
Mm-hmm.
So that's just tells you right there that they're fine with patriarchy. They're okay with that. If they weren't okay with patriarchy, most white women in the last election, was it the last election, election before that? But a majority of white women voted for Donald Trump
Sure, they did.
because they're perfectly fine with patriarchy.
Right.
They
They did
just
not vote for Hillary.
right.
My
They
brother,
they
that
are
was my
fine with that.
point.
hmm
That was the point. When I said that their power is based on their proximity to the white men around them, it was not to say that they are not culpable. It was to say that the men make the decisions. They know how to
But
move them into that decision.
if they know how to
Actually,
manipulate the person, if they raise the person, the hand that rocks the
Thank
cradle
you.
is the person that makes the decision before the man makes the decision, then who made the decision?
Thank
the
you.
one,
I understand. I do get it. I get
yeah,
it.
because
But at
white
the
women
end
are
of the day,
really more dangerous and more treacherous than any man because she's
Right.
thinking
and
she's
I
out
and
thinking
us as
him
black women,
while he
us as
sleep.
black women on this panel, if it's any black women on this panel that work in corporate America, we know firsthand exactly how dangerous YT women can be. Period.
Oh, definitely.
So I'm not up here
Black men know too.
trying to champion
Black men know too.
YT women and their innocence. Absolutely the F not. Absolutely
Well,
not.
what are you
So
championing?
the instance that I wanted to bring up
Let's
was
take it
What
back.
I'm saying is that what they do is they control the men.
Let's take
They
it back all the
control the
way
So
men.
to
then they both in power. So then they both doing the shit. So what are you saying?
But at the end of the day, the face of the decision is who? It's the
It
man.
doesn't
the
matter.
uh-huh.
I
So
understand
what?
that it
She's
don't matter
still
at the
doing
end.
manipulating.
The
I've worked in
end.
corporate America. Yes, they're dangerous. They're dangerous because in academia, they're the head and effing up our sons in the educational system. They run that area too. So
Uh-huh.
yes, they are dangerous in
That's
every
why
sense of the word. More
tell
than
your
white
son
men sometimes.
tell your
I
sons don't never
agree.
bring one of them things home to you talking about they gonna marry them. I'm telling you right now, tell them don't bring them one on to you
Right.
that they gonna marry them because oh Lord, that's the worst thing they
You
can do.
can't
I'm
use my
telling you.
comb, don't bring her home. Now.
Uh, God knows. But let's go back to biblical days. Remember Joseph, right? Joseph was working. This in the Bible. Joseph was working. The king loved him. What did his wife do? Lied on him. Lied on him. And the king knew that she was lying. But what did he have to do? He had to get rid of Joseph. Joseph was his chief man. But because his wife lied and said and Joseph had to run out of there because she made a pass at him. And he was so loyal to the king. And she gonna tell the king Joseph made a pass at him, and Joseph ran out and left his cloak in there. And she told the king that Joseph made a pass at her, and he didn't. He ran out the palace because she was trying to make a pass at her. This a white woman, and so he left his cloak in there, and he had to punish Joseph, but. He knew it was a lie, but because it was his wife and he had to save face. See what I'm saying? He had to save face. That's what a woman will do. She'll put a man in a bad position and he'll have to do something about it. and that's
Mhm.
what they do.
So, sister, I would just say that, yeah, I mean, definitely during that time period, um, that was definitely more so an ancient African civilization because that was ancient Kemet. And the story of
Mm.
Joseph originates from that time. So that was majority black women.
But
But
yeah,
yeah, but the
but
thing is that black women in ancient Kemet, ancient Egypt, they were not powerless. Actually, if anything, they held more power than YT women did all the way up until the 1930s. And we're talking about thousands of years ago. Ancient African women could own their own
mm-hmm,
homes.
I don't think
They
that was
could
the
divorce
claim,
and
but
marry
yeah.
whom they wanted to. They could, yeah, but that's during that time period. However, in this context with the story from the biblical context, it refers
mm-hmm.
to her allow, or at least letting her husband know that, hey, this particular thing happened to me and you need to go ahead and get this dude who I actually made the pass at in the first place.
But she
But I mean,
lied.
there's definitely, like, there's one example I wanted to bring out. It wasn't the Heritage Foundation from before, but it's called Daughters of the Confederacy.
That's what I told
And
you.
Ah,
yep, so
okay.
Daughters of the Confederacy was founded by YT women, and it's
Mm-hmm.
still predominantly headed by YT women. And what they're trying to do, and what they have been doing for a very, very long time now, since the 1890s, they have
Mm-hmm.
actually been infiltrating academia, infiltrating school curriculum in the pursuit of trying to teach a more of a YT washed version of what the Confederacy actually stood for. The
Is that what I
Confederacy,
just said?
hands down.
You
Mm-hmm.
sure
Oh, yep.
did.
Yep. The Confederacy, hands down, was fighting for the attempt at preserving the enslavement of our African ancestors. And the Daughters of the
Right.
Confederacy are YT women that don't like
Mm-hmm.
the fact that the history shows that they were fighting for slavery. So what they're trying to do is YT wash that history in the
Mm-hmm.
hopes of getting people brainwashed enough. Essentially, they believe that accurate history, but we really know what it actually is. It's literally
Mm-hmm.
just them creating a false narrative around that. That means that majority YT women with the Heritage Foundation since the 1890s have had
Yeah.
full power and control over the education system of a
Mm-hmm.
huge amount of Southerners as well as Northerners for an extended amount of time, and they are still alive and kicking
They
today.
still
I
doing
literally
it.
have them up on my screen now, and yet we're
Mm-hmm.
trying to
They're
pretend as
still
if YT women
active.
don't have power. They
Right.
have a lot of
Mm-hmm.
power. They're
And
influencing
that's
how
what
our
I was
children are
saying.
educated right now.
That's
Mm-hmm.
why I was saying the conspiracy to destroy the black boys. That a lot of that is connected straight with what impact they've had on our educational system. That's why I was
Uh-huh.
just saying all this stuff works together. It
And
just is what it is.
I'm not a conspiracy theorist, but YT America do not want the black people to know who we really are because we are really powerful and they are terrified of us.
Of course,
Terrified. They are terrified of us. They are intimidated by us. For real.
everything by
They
everything.
are. Because they know they are thieves and robbers, and they know when we take our rightful place, they're going down. That's what it is. That's
That's all it is.
exactly what it is. That's what's wrong with them. Cause the big lie, that's what it is. Cause
Yeah,
they
the
know that
five.
we've been displaced. We have been displaced.
Well, they know.
Mm-hmm.
Since you found the Bible, the first shall be last, and the last shall be first.
Uh-huh.
So, is that? I mean, are we on the same page now, or I'm still trying to understand?
We're on the same page. In 2009, I had the privilege of going to Egypt and Israel, and I got to see the Madonna and Yeshua, and he is black. And they got it over there, but all this mess that they brought over here with the Jesus and all that, depicting him as white and all that, is not true. And over there they show him as black,
Oh,
but
do
see,
we
they done
know?
whitewash that and send it over here. That's not true, but history bears it out, and they just scared that all of it is coming out. And when even Putin said that Jesus was black a few months ago, and it messed everybody up. But a lot of us know that anyway. Mm-hmm.
So
All right.
I'm just trying to get back to the point the sister was making. That's what I'm just trying to still understand. Are we?
I think we're on the same page
She
now.
was
Hopefully.
saying what we were saying. Actually, we just wasn't understanding her. Mm-hmm.
All right.
All right.
There's other
Okay.
guests. I just got up here to say there's more guests waiting.
Yeah.
Oh, I'm gonna hop down because this I appreciate y'all for having me, and I
All
really
right.
enjoyed it. I'm gonna follow you though.
Yeah, I'll follow you
And
back
also,
on,
can
Nelly.
y'all please
Okay.
start tapping? We're not at 100K
Okay.
yet. Please start tapping.
All
Thank
right.
you.
Bye, sweetheart.
Peace on Nelly.
All
Me too.
right.
I'm gonna drop
All
down and
right.
hold on for somebody. Thank you for having
All
me.
right. Peace, sister. We're gonna go to the next guest. Nick, give us your age, race, and pronouns, please.
All right, I'm 32. Unfortunately, I am white. My pronouns are he and him.
That is quite unfortunate. Go ahead and talk to us.
With everything y'all saying, I've been trying to change my perspective on life in general, not just about white tea and black people, but in consciousness and the body, the mind, the soul, and everything. I honestly feel that the black people in ancient times had the closest to all of them. That black people are the superior beings, that white tea people use this control to try to keep the superiority down, to keep black
In what
people as
ways
a
are black
minority.
people? In what ways are black people superior?
Their level of intelligence, level of unconsciousness, just everything in general. Could be the lack of melanin in the skin that makes white people so scared.
Okay. And how has this superiority worked to the benefit of black people?
Most ancient cultures found the key to their consciousness, and like ancient Egyptians, the majority were actually black people. Ancient Sumerians, the majority was actually black people. The Bible, the known Bible of today, is actually more of a lie in my eyes, and it was used as white culture to suppress more of the black culture that was, the ancient Hebrews were also a majority of a black culture. Every evidence shows that black culture was the main culture back then. They was the majority.
But what I'm saying is, we can talk about 3000 BC, but today, how is black superiority working to the benefit of black people?
Well, that's the thing about it. The YT people has created this lie of superiority and control, and that's the way that the black people are held against that. You know what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
A lot of black people don't have the ability to, because the white tea people keeps controlling the narrative.
So if white people control the narrative, how are black people superior? Wouldn't superior people be able to control the narrative?
They really should, but unfortunately, the way the systems has been set up throughout the world, in my eyes, it might be a conspiracy theory. A lot of people think, but the way the systems are set up throughout the world, the YT people have set up a system to where they control the black people and
So how did they create that system?
Inferior.
No, how did the inferior people?
It's in a fear aspect.
How did the inferior people gain control and create a system that oppresses superior people?
By trying to enslave them. The
Yeah,
black
but
slave goes
how did they?
And
Okay, so how did
I'm still trying to figure out. That's where I draw blanks at. So I would absolutely, if anybody else knows that answer, I would love to hear it and learn from it.
Anybody got questions for him?
Sorry, I'm losing connection.
No,
Y'all let him throw you in the loop, huh?
no,
He came up here talking like a white Uncle Tom.
no. He been in the comments the whole time. He been here like for days. I've been seeing the comments. I'm not. I got nothing to say. I'm finna go to the comment section. I just came up here because we were staying on like that whole thing was just like cheese grate on my brain after a while with the last guest. I'm sorry.
Okay.
And if we could get to 100K, that would be great, y'all. If we could tap up and get this likes up in the live, that'd be awesome, amazing. Thank y'all. And I'm gonna drop it down to the comments. Thank you for letting me up, brother.
All right.
You go to YT Spaces and tell them the same thing?
I try to, but a lot of them don't really listen to me.
Okay. What is
They
your
think I'm just a
ultimate
crazy
goal
conspiracy
for coming
theorist.
to? Okay. What's your ultimate goal for coming to spaces where predominantly the audience base will be people of African ancestry and telling them that?
Majority to show that not all YT people think that way. Unfortunately, most are, and I had to actually change my narrative throughout the world and perceive it at a different way than most YT people actually do. But I perceive life in a very different way than a lot of people in general anyway.
How do we know you're not fooling us?
I'm not trying to fool anybody. I just live for me.
Yeah,
I live for my singular consciousness and how to live better, how to improve
But what I'm
my
saying
life.
is,
Hopefully, I can improve others' lives by my mind.
But what is the point of telling black people this to show us that not all white people are like this if you could still be trying to trick us? Like, not saying you are, but how do we know?
Yeah, true. I understand. It's one of those things that's it's hard to actually prove without actually learning more knowledge about it. I'm just trying to learn myself on how to improve my consciousness and perception in the world, and I feel that most of black people in general have unlocked that higher level than YT people have.
Well, our Egyptian ancestors said, "Know thyself." So you should do that. Seek and ye shall find, and go from there. There's really no need for you to come in black spaces or whatever. If this is your goal to know yourself, then that's what you should do. And there's really, no need really for you. If
Yes,
you
ma'am.
know something, then you need to go study it and like I said, know thyself, and that's all you can do. There's really no need to
Yes, ma'am.
come in black spaces at all. Do your research, do your work, do you, and then that's it.
Are marriages between black people and YT people ethical?
You know. Well, I really don't even think we need to ask him any more questions. Like I said, know thyself. Let him do his thing and go from there. There's really no need for him to come up here and talk about any of this. If that's what he believes, and if he believes what he's claiming, then he's got self research to do and understand himself and move in the way he gonna move in his life. There's nothing else really to discuss. Now that's my opinion.
Okay.
Yes, ma'am. Thank you.
All right. We're going to move along.
All
Thank you,
right.
Nick.
I would like to
next
kind of
guest.
step down and have the black people come back in, if that's okay.
All right.
Sure you can.
Next guest, The Collective. Give us your age, race, and pronouns.
Black.
Wait, before you do that, I just want to say that was weird, man. I'm telling you, that was weird. It didn't feel right. I don't know. It didn't feel
That's
right.
why I said
Personally,
it.
that's
But
why I wanted.
It felt like
that's why I wanted
fetish.
him to answer that second question, because it sounded like, okay, you're here, you're saying all these things, but
yeah.
But why
trying to
engage
fish
that?
for.
Why engage it then?
No,
That's all I'm saying.
I agree with Smart Sister. We ain't have to go any further because I
Just
mean,
let him do him.
it's like the fetishization of black women, black men, or I'm sorry, black people. We were fetishized right there. Exoticism You know, the reason they ground up the bones of our ancestors, you know, the
Mm-hmm.
mummies, they would grind up their bones and put them in their
Mm-hmm.
dessert and stuff like that,
Mm-hmm.
because they believed that as well, right? They thought,
Right.
you know, oh, you guys are superior. We're gonna use your skin to make books and your hair to make
So,
pillows. You know,
Eyes Wide Shut. I bring that up all the time. That movie, Eyes Wide Shut, with what's his name in there?
Tom Cruise.
Tom Cruise. That whole thing is
Yeah.
all about black magic. It's about sex magic, rather.
Mm,
So, let them go. I like I said, we got too much to do than to keep engaging folks and trying to figure them. I don't give a damn if what you're saying that's true. Then, like I said, know thyself.
yeah.
That's all, and you move on. We got bigger fish to fry.
Yeah. I heard that. All right. The collective. Go ahead. Give us your age, race, and pronouns.
Black 64, and I don't have no pronouns. I'm just a man. That's it.
All right. Talk to us.
Yeah, I was listening to you guys for a while, and there was one of you guys was talking about the new conversation on Aboriginal people, and I engaged in a lot of guys that's on here, and a lot of our people are saying, and a lot of people saying, "Oh, no, you're not. No, you're not. No, you're not. Africa, Africa, Africa," and I kind of understood what they were talking about. And one of the things that I wanted to say to a lot of people said, "Oh no, we come from Africa. We come from Africa." In my studies, I learned that a lot of stuff has been flipped upside down. So where north is not there. Where east isn't there. The reading, which was right to left, was changed from left to right. Which we read from left to right, and it was always right to left. And I can understand what these brothers are coming from because I've seen this happen before in the black community, and I really see that our community is very diverse, and we've been all over the planet. And one of the things that I've always learned, I've been in a lot of black organizations and stuff like that, and the things that they always taught, they never taught us about racism, and they taught us about protecting ourselves and being unified and loving one another and look out for uniforms in the legal system. But they never said that. I never really heard people say it individually, but they never said YT this, YT that. But they showed us tactical ways that they approach situations. Now, one of the things that I've noticed and this is what I take this straight to hip hop and rap. When rap first came out, a lot of black organizations didn't want to touch it. And one of a famous star said, "Oh, I have no problem with what I have problems with what they're saying, but I have no problems with who they're talking about." And when it first came out, a lot of people were saying it was never going to make it anywhere, and it was looked as negative, and it was the news of the young black people, young children telling the story of who they were, and nobody really wanted to touch it. And these guys actually went out and started doing the things on their own. And I equate this Aborigine thing as being a gift from our creator, our ancestors, trying to remind us we was across the planet, how things began. Now, if they say we come out of Africa, and why couldn't we come out of here and then went to Africa and make it to what it is?
Brother, just real quick, the reason why is because none of the archaeological evidence, none of the geographical evidence, none of the biological evidence, even none of the anthropological evidence supports that. Because see, the thing is that when we're studying this stuff, we have to look at all the areas of science and then bring it all together, because our ancient African ancestors, they very much so invented the first concepts of what scientific discovery would be. They invented the first ever forms of chemistry. You know, of course, they had different names for it back in ancient times, more indigenous African names. And then, of course, fast forward to today, we've all been colonized. We've been forced to have the English language pushed onto us. English language is based off of constructs that have been, of course, obviously Indo-Europeans. So we get the words chem, chemistry, so on and so forth. But we have to look at all those areas of study, because even though we do have to take everything with a grain of salt, at the same time, we have a lot of our African family, as well as Black people across the planet, that are experts in these exact same fields that have confirmed and corroborated what certain institutions have discovered. Like, and some YT people, they do actually tell the truth. Like, some of them actually legit do. And I'm not saying that that makes them no longer racist. It's just sometimes they actually say the truth. Hence the reason why we got to pay attention whenever we're asking them questions, because sometimes they legit will just say exactly what we need to understand, so that way we know how to operate in constructs of racism, white supremacy. So, for example, there's a brother by the name of Isnt Diop, and the book African Origin of Civilization. He was just not recently, but within the last couple of years, they gave him a full exhibit in the Metropolitan Museum of Art dedicated just to his work, a permanent exhibit. It's there right now. Anybody who lives in anywhere near New York City, you could literally go to New York City Metropolitan Museum of Art, and you can go to that entire section, and it's all dedicated to Isnt Diop's work. Isnt Diop was a Black man, and he studied these things. He even invented forms of being able to test the melanin composition in skin in order to determine whether or not the mummified remains that he managed to, essentially get access to, big air quotes on that one, because obviously the Egyptian government doesn't want people to study the mummies, especially not the melanin, because if you study the melanin in the mummies, you find out, oh, they were Black, not the falsification of them trying to say that they were white all the time. So it's just that you got to know all of these forms of history and all of these scholars that are not just YT people. Joseph Ben Jacquinin confirmed the same thing. Isnt Diop, like I said, confirmed the same thing. Dr. John Henry Clark confirmed the same thing. Chancellor Williams in his book, The Destruction of Black Civilization.
Yeah, I read that. I read that.
Well then, brother, listen, although, like, in order to be able to understand, like, when people try to pretend that the whole, like, oh, we were Black everywhere. Like, okay, first off, we were, because melanin is actually a biological advantage. So having dark skin is a biological advantage as a default. You don't see people start getting extremely lighter skin complexions, or at least you don't see the genetics necessary to mutate the skin into lighter skin complexions until about 70,000 years ago. But modern Homo sapiens emerged over 600,000 years ago, is what they believe. And now, mind you, they might find fossilized evidence that pushes that date back further. But so far, based off of discoveries that they've had 600,000 years ago. So the genetics required to even change the skin pigmentation 70,000 years ago, but you don't actually start seeing physical representations of lighter skin pigmentation until between 6,000 to 8,000 years ago. That's the reason why in the pyramids, not in the pyramids, but in the Valley of the Kings, like I believe it's Pharaoh Seti I's tomb, you can see a representation of the different like civilizations that existed during that time. And you will see representations of YT people or Indo-Europeans, like the ancient ancestors of Europeans. But that's because, that was depicted roughly 3,000 years ago, which is smack dab in between or right after that 6,000, 8,000 year time period. So they were around, 6,000, 8,000 years ago. But if you go back 70,000 years, they weren't around. However, by 70,000 years ago, you can already see that there was massive expansions out of the African continent across multiple regions. So majority of the world was Black. Like that's just the last thing to go out of a person when you're mutating to an environment is the melanin. Melanin is a biological advantage. That's the last thing to go. So YT people are brand new. And Mother Nature is showing that lower concentrations of naturally produced melanin ain't really helping you. So,
And with the pretendians, brother, look at it like this. Why is that all of a sudden a thing right now? Right when we working on Pan-Africanism, and bringing black folks all together from the diaspora. Don't you find it a little funny that now all of a sudden this is a argument that came out of nowhere? Really, Dane Calloway, one person. It wasn't a pretending movement at the turn of the century. None of that. So you got to look at it, the timing of when it's coming around, and the fact that indigenous people here, they still came from us in some shape or form. However, they could survive this environment and survive, how they adapted to the environment. We wasn't made to be cold like over here. Basically it's almost like it was the Eskimos. Then the Eskimos, came on down a little further south and adapted to the environment like that. We weren't made for this. So just think about it like that. It's still getting back to us not wanting to be African. And the bottom line is, if Chinese and Japanese can admit that they came from us, then I got a problem with us sitting up here talking about we're indigenous. It's
Damn.
just scientifically not there, and it's just not there in any way, shape, or form. That's all.
Can I
Damn,
follow
man.
up? May I follow up on what you guys said?
Sure.
Okay, first, I understand what you're saying, smart sister, and and Timothy, that was you, right? Timothy? Right. Yeah, I the way you're talking is everything that you were saying. I looked into that. I did look into that, and the problem I had with it is that there's certain knowledge that's not given out, and is only given into certain people at certain degrees, because you got to understand one thing: knowledge is power. And I have seen my mother, when I was smaller, they were telling you to brush your teeth up and down. This is just a minor thing, but it just brings it to the whole thing. And they were saying you had to brush your teeth up and down. And my mother said, no, you have to brush your tongue, you have to brush this, you have to brush back and forth. But they taught us that you had to brush up and down. And my mother said, no, I'm not going to listen to that. So she taught us that you had to brush in the back, brush your tongue, and behind your teeth and around. That's how she taught us. So what happened years later, many, many years later, they changed the whole dynamic, because they saw that what they taught at the time was correct for the time, but it wasn't accurate. And if we look at the science, if we look at science as a whole, science is good for the moment. And my grandmother always said, the father will show the son, but then the son will teach the father. So what we know now, maybe what Timothy, everything that Timothy was saying is accurate at the time we are. But then the new generation comes in and interjects and says, we don't have to do it this way no more. It's not this way.
No, but we're talking about science, not brushing your teeth. And don't get me wrong, I see what you're saying, but science is science. Okay, and habits, all this other kind of stuff. Just think about what you're saying, not to demean what you just said, but however, habits and people functions and stuff like that is one thing. Science and paleontology and study of all of that is a whole nother thing. And like I said to you, you have to look at the timing of this stuff. Why all of a sudden? You think black people, we've been chronicling our history and our language and all of our stuff for a long time. Why would we have chronicled that? If we were indigenous, then where is the hit? Where we talk about everything else we did as a people through slavery, under all kind of stuff. But I don't know of it. I'm not saying I know everything, but I have never in any of my study found anything where anybody was talking about being a pretender and wrote about it and wrote it down and pass it on to their kids, try to do any of that. None of that exists.
Well,
Um, hey,
I know
brother
that.
Legend, you mind if I
It's
jump in for a
interesting.
second?
Can I just,
Well, hold
yeah,
on,
but can I
Anwar.
just
You have
say,
to mute
I
up. You got to
haven't
wait your
finished what I
turn.
was saying. And I just want to, I'm going to close
Go
out on
ahead.
that note. I'll make it short. To Smart Sister, I want to say one thing, and this is what I say to all the intellectuals that bring up this. There's such thing as the Eastern Stars, the Masons, the Knights of Columbus, and my grandmother had a second grade education, but she was an Eastern Star. And there's certain things that she could not tell me, could not tell me.
The
And I've
secret
talked to other
society.
people that was on that. So what I'm saying is that even during the Egyptian times, there was called sacred knowledge, and you had to be initiated to go into this place. So what I'm saying is that the knowledge we have, and I take this back to David Lynn Miller when he broke it down. He said everybody has a second grade reading level, and I'm not putting everybody down. He said I'm a 73-degree Mason. Everybody think a 33-degree Mason is the top. He said, I'm a 73-degree Mason. I broke down the Kodaks. And he was breaking it down. He brought out things. When you get in those societies, what you think you know, you don't know.
Yeah,
All that they taught
okay.
you.
The difference is that when you for example, you can come to the end of or you can come to the conclusion of something in more than one way. Like if I was to tell you, hey, look, I found this bone in the ground, you know, here, let's study this bone. Like we can study the dirt to determine, you know, hey, how long ago was this bone there? And we can know that by understanding what the layers or the different layers of the soil may represent. So like if I go down a couple feet, then I'm like, all right, bet. So I'm already back a couple hundred years. How far deep down did I find this bone? Did I find it deep down a couple feet, or did I find it just within like the first couple layers? And also what was going on geographically in that area at the time? Like what kind of storms came through that area? What kind of, you know, like that, like there's a lot of different things that you have to take into consideration when you're trying to come to the conclusion of something. So if you're trying to prove something to be a fact, then that means that you're able to prove it time and time and time again. And then other people are able to take the same methods that you used and maybe even use some of their own methods and come also to the same conclusion time and time and time again. They all come together and they say, hey, you know what? We all tried different ways, but we all came to the same result that this guy put down. So you know what? This has to be true because we took the time to come together and actually test it, determine if it was or was not true. We showed you all the proof. We listed it all out step by step by step. That's what the research papers are for. This is an institution that is well known for doing this. That's what, you know, why you have to source check information. It's got to be peer reviewed. You know, you got to make sure that it's factual. It's coming from reputable institutions or reputable people, like people that stand to lose their reputation if they tell a lie. And so that's when it's like, all right, but also, yes, I do understand there is the constructs of racism, white supremacy that dictate and determine what is and is not being allowed to be shared with people oftentimes. However, let's be very clear, not everything is always able to be kept a secret. And what they've been able to prove is that, oh, I'm sorry, sister, were you about to?
Oh no, I'm sorry. No, what I was gonna say is secret societies. Where did they come from? They came from us. Second of all, you know, when you're looking at secret societies, or because still, a lot of them have forgotten stuff that we may never know. Got it. But the fact of the matter is, you know, when you look at any Mason, Eastern Star, whatever, those are divination systems and stuff that were based on what we taught. You know, when we say standing on your square, the square is the bottom of a pyramid. So the fact of that there is knowledge and stuff, and when you keep going up in degrees of knowledge, that's African in and of itself. Okay, so that's all I'm saying. And even